in a second. Almost live. And I believe we're live. Gonna double check. And we're live. All right, let me give these guys this link. All right, Joyless, can you hear me?
Yep, absolutely, man. How you doing?
Good, good. Excellent. It's only, I don't know, what, 3 in the morning, and I was trying to set up a stream for the last fucking 6 hours. No biggie.
Yeah, you're all right, all right. You know what it is. It is what it is. This is it's normal hours for our industry, so it's not a big
Yeah, that's true, right? Like right now, the holders are literally like Tisol, for instance, was just telling me earlier, like, yo, hurry the hell up with the stream because he's in the eastern side of the whole fucking hemisphere, right? And he's like, dude, hurry up with the stream. I'm about to go to bed. And I'm like, oh, soon. 4 hours, 5 hours later, I still don't have it up. I finally get it up. Now the dude's awake again. That's how long I've been taking to set this up, bro. Like,
because he knows that soon is a relative concept anyway. Like, so it's still soon as far as he's concerned, especially if he took a nap. So it's like,
nah, it's no nap. He actually just went to sleep. Like, that's how long it's been. All right, so let's get started here. So, as everyone knows right now, the whole timeline is going crazy with our name. We're not trying to joke around anymore. Really, we gotta like just take back the scene. Right now, that we have way too many founders that are behind and screens, hiding for dear, God, like hiding and praying to their dear gods. Hoping that their community won't kill them because the NFT sentiment. But Mallard's done changed that today. It seems like the whole space is now ramping up. You have founders coming out of the woodwork. I haven't seen some of these people since 3 years ago, April or something. And now they're shouting to the tops of the hills that they should be paid attention to. Now, the thing is, I really enjoy that. Because if we take the torch and we start making enough noise, we'll wake everybody the hell back up. And, people have to start shaking and making some noise again. Bro, this space is so boring when all people do is talk about how they hate governance and then hate every single asset that they once believed in. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. And like, go back to watching Netflix and Web2, please. We don't need you here, though.
Exactly. Like, if you're not about the, like, it's like the whole entire thing is an interactive experience that you need to engage in. So it's like, if you want assets, you want this, but you don't want to take part in governance or at least develop it. It's just like, then you really just don't want to kind of be a part of what you're investing in. It just
pretty much. Yeah, they just, that's the nature of the beast. But luckily, there are very good people out there, like our holders, who are screaming to the top of their lungs, and they're reminding everyone what getting engagement looks like, what being proud of what you represent looks like. And really, that comes with time. Like, building a community, grassroots like that, where people will actually feel like family when they're in the Discord, that takes time, and you can't manufacture it. You can't bullshit your way to get it. Nope. And on moments like this, when things are calmer, you can obviously see who the liars are. When the MFer has like 30K followers, but only gets like, I don't know, 200 views. It's just like, bruh. Now I see the smoke and mirrors. Yeah, like. But
no, it's a beautiful thing, man.
So, Joyless, introduce yourself real quick to them.
Hey, what's going on, fam? How you doing? Joyless. I'm sure some people around know me. Been a big time kind of a builder in the space for about 4 or 5 years now, maybe even 6 as far as crypto goes. And I've known Newt for a very, very long time. We met in IRL and a bunch of different things, playing music and stuff. And I started building out my own projects, and a lot of our stuff kind of aligned. So we're just kind of like, putting together our resource base and all the things that we built, and kind of just like ramping things up like
and you're the one who brought him to us, to the developer you just brought up.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. We know him as Sub-Zero here, but thanks for putting that together for me. Many may not know this, but I've known you for many years of my life outside of this. Your music engineering skills, your music capabilities, like all that good stuff. that you're known for, networking. And yeah, man, I really got to thank you once again and publicly in front of everyone for bringing us a fine developer that has helped us rework Raiders Guild into the best place that it could ever be, it could have ever been in, especially with the next update. So I really appreciate you for that, man.
No, bro, it ain't no thing, and it's just like what we need is just like good people coming together, sharing their resources, whatever that may be, and kind of like just bringing like Web3 ideas that are like actually useful to the holders and as a business and all these things, and creating these, you know, cool ecosystems that people talk about. But having like someone like, you know, Sub-Zero that can actually breathe the tech to life and all these ideas and stuff like that, it's like, it's invaluable, you know. And absolutely, you guys are welcome, because it's just, you know, we all just have to kind of just put our bid in to make each other succeed. Like I said, like he said, we've known each other for years, so this is kind of just like it's a collaboration.
Yeah, Demosthenes and Joyless go way back, everyone. Yeah. And you were actually at our first gallery show.
Yep,
you pulled up
first and I think second too.
Yeah. You got to meet. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I cut you off.
Man. Like it's you know, I've been like Mallard adjacent for quite a while. You know, when you first started the whole thing, and it's just been awesome to see the consistency. And it's just like, it just represents who you are, though. You've always been a stand-up person, so that wasn't even like a thing. But it's awesome to stand out though in the crowd for that particular thing, which is being consistent with your project, always being there, always trying.
Bro, I try to tell them that these they don't know how much of a nutbag I am, how spiteful I am to finish something, bro. I never stop. Like, you guys used to be like, yo, man, like, my real name's Francisco. They're like, yo, Francisco, shut up about that thing you keep talking about. Like, these motherfuckers don't understand, bro. Once I get obsessed about something,
there's no Francisco that's more dangerous than one that has a point to prove.
Yeah, exactly. I try to tell them about it. I'm like, dude, you gave me a chip on my shoulder. It's over now. I'm here every day, nonstop.
That's right, exactly, dude. And that's like, you know, that not only is necessary, and it's like, you know, that's one thing, but then it's like also actually having ideas that are like valuable, that utilize the technology, you know what I mean? And then think about how we're going to make that, you know, something that the entire community benefits from, so you can show the real value of what like Web3 is. Like it's like standard bearing stuff too. Like, you know, it's like nothing like to like, you know, go overboard on flour or something like that. But it's like you started something and you never stopped. Whereas like people took breaks for this reason, that reason, some legitimate too. Like some people lost like their whole treasury when the crash has happened. So it's like, I get that, but it's like to work through that though with your own gumption, your own ideas, and your own resources, despite whatever the market is doing. Very, very few founders have done that. Period. And you're one of them that have it. So it's
yeah, like, luckily, you know, these are these moments where you can start collecting your accolades when you look at the battlefield and everyone either ran or they're dead, and like it's the last man standing vibes, you know. So this is what I was looking forward to. This is why my PFP has all those skulls stacked on it. Those are all the haters, bro. I knew, dude. It's so easy for the hater to always give up. You can always tell they're the one that's least involved in anything. They got the most to say, and they're out the door the fastest.
Yeah, dude, hater energy is sporadic, dude, and everybody knows that. It comes and goes. It's not like there's nothing sustainable about that, bro. Like, and that's what the joy is, bro. Like,
but I'm glad to have you on the team now, bro, because now we're really gonna rank. You know, we're really gonna crank this puppy up. And if you don't mind, I say we jump into this.
Yeah, let's get right into it, man. Let's do it for sure.
The Mallard Order, a new era begins. I even read it wrong. What a fucking loser! Oh my god! All right, all right, guys. As you already know, it's been a while. We've had staking inactive. So, Joyless, you may have not known this. We used a platform before that basically went belly up. Then they sold their platform to a very well-known, really badass project known as Dirtbirds. And they're also bought another project that's called Bajewski Studios. These guys really fucking build, so I'm happy to see it in their hands. But what happened is, for us, is that we lost our whole staking infrastructure because the Mutants NFT had basically a massive share of the infra of staking on Cardano as a whole. So as soon as we lost that, we've been inactive staking wise for probably over 7 months now, which is fucking unacceptable. But of course yeah. Bro, we're trying to be frugal, so like, at that point we're like, okay, you know what? Let's just focus on everything else, and then we'll get back to it. And we just decided to go with a custom CMS that was originally built for us, but not fully finished, and now it's fully finished. And that CMS and SDK was built by none other than Ada Anvil. These guys have been one of the only projects that when they get Catalyst funding, they actually hit all their milestones. So shout outs to Cash and them boys, because they deserve all the funding they can get, bro. Like it's crazy.
All right, great. So they put the work in, and so now you basically have a framework now to start implementing staking all over again.
Yeah, it's currently live right now today.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right, so let's get through it. So guys, we're introducing something called the Conduit that one of my favorite developers in the space, who's also one of our lovely holders, his name is Tasol. He tends to troll the living hell out of me, and he had told me last year it's probably going to take 5 months to get it out. And you know what? He was actually right, even though I told him he wasn't. So we're pretty much done with it now, boys and gals. And we're calling it the Conduit, aka something that generates power. And I think that this is something that we're harnessing our power through. It's essentially an all-in-one dashboard, utilizing different APIs, one from the staking, so you know what kind of staking rewards you're getting, one from our Shopify, well, two from our Shopifys, one from the merch store, and then one from the print shop. So they'll be able to actually see all the live sale analytics and metrics, etc., happening right on that one screen. And also it's using logic, so then it lets them know based on X amount of time that you've staked, and based on on X amount of assets that you've staked, and the sales that are happening across these different platforms, whether it be the print shop, Raiders Guild, merch shop, the comic sales happening from Amazon, the comic sales happening from our own independent website. They'll be able to keep full track, know exactly how much they're accruing, and know what kind of rewards that they're going to be seeing going forward. Because the name of the game now is, hey, if the president's going to add LP, well, we'll just figure out a new legal wrapper to add in, which is one of the reasons we're asking for this funding. And that legal wrapper will allow us to indeed then be able to inject LP into our own ecosystems token that was originally seen as worthless. Now, they treated it very kindly. They weren't dumping it. They didn't mess around with it. They didn't try to burn it for no reason. They actually held on to it. So I can't wait to see, when some injection happens, what the people who held on to it are, they're going to be able to see some value in it for once.
Beautiful. Yeah, and with the current situation, they've completely dismantled all regulation for crypto.
It's that's another subject, bro. CoffeeZilla's channel is about to go out of business any minute now. He's got no content to cover anymore. It's crazy. I feel so bad for him. All right.
So basically, it gives us at least room to experiment with a lot of the cool things that were kind of very much so in the gray zone just 5 months ago. So things like adding LP and not being ran down on by the SEC.
Yeah,
great. So it's a
very critical point. Now, mind you, there still is a lot of different angles and variables that they can get you on, but that's of course why we're gonna have a new legal wrapper to keep us nice and cozy and safe. So all right, we'll continue on. So yeah, it's basically saying it here, it's the central nervous system of our project. That's how we want to see this going forward. Like, if you have any questions, what do Mallard's assets do? You simply just point a guy or a girl or other to a link for a Conduit. They go check out the dashboard, and now they know where they can, get the rewards from. And that should incentivize them to understand what kind of gamification that they're involved in, and pretty much how they can go about purchasing their assets if they want to get involved in our ecosystem. They'll no longer be lost behind all the lore and all the rhetoric and jargon that's in the different Discord channels. It could be a very overwhelming.
Absolutely. And then I'm assuming that even from the conduit, they can kind of pick how they want to engage with the entire ecosystem and the lore and the project and everything like that. So they can just kind of not be bombarded with everything all at once. It's all presented to them in a different kind of just like here it all is. And then also they can it's also cool because you make an informed decision too based upon real-time analytics showing you the value of something and where it's going and how it's
exactly, and how much it's already made, right? Like an individual who just shows up to Mallard's maybe 5 months from now will be able to see, oh, okay, they've had 480 comic sales on Amazon, they've had X amount of sales over here, they've had this many shows that they've gotten ROI from, not ROI, sorry, it's made some revenue from, etc. And like you said, it'll lead to an informed decision. So I'm really excited about that the most because I'm so tired of answering the question, what do Mallards do?
And it's also sick to have the flex too. So it's like, just like you said, answering that question or even just having that conversation anywhere, whether that's like, at a crypto event or, whatever, some jackass is talking crap about it across the dinner table. And you're just like, oh, well, that's cool. Well, I bought these assets, and this is how much they're going. I'm making this money right now during this conversation with you.
Yeah, exactly. You just flex the dashboard. That's it.
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's pretty lit. I like that a lot.
So and then we have right here, we're explaining, what the optimal staking would look like. We have 5 different schools of thought in our project. If you have one of each, then you have one unique set. The same thing with the relics. And also invitation letters are always a bonus. They give you the most rune, pretty much bang for your buck for one singular asset. And in the future, with our partner that we can't announce just yet, they have a whole automated smart contract DAO system, and we're going to have folks lock up rune in there if they want higher weight in their voting. And the voting will be basically revolving around the rev model, right? And they'll basically decide, like, out of 4 options, how should these current funds get used? Should they go back into a buyback program for buying Mallard Order assets? If so, then which Mallard Order assets will we be sweeping? And just so you guys know, on a side note, me and Joyless were talking about this behind the scenes that we're excited about. When we buy back these Mallard Order assets, guys, they will get locked up, staked, and any rune accrued that it accrues during that lockup period will then be used to sponsor everyone's raids that we feel like. So for every person that wants to exit or every person that needs maybe a couple of extra ADA and they put that duck on the floor, that duck's gonna get ate up, it's gonna get locked up, it's gonna be squeezed for all its rune, and then that rune's gonna be I'm painting a picture, and that rune's gonna go into sponsoring raids. And I think that's gonna be pretty exciting because it'll really give us some leverage to be able to like make it a really cool experience for anyone who joins the project. First day in, it's just pure clout. They get a bunch of followers, everyone's coming to their aid, and everyone who's participating and welcoming that new user or new holder will essentially earn rune rewards, which now has a backed LP, and then they can, with their own keen abilities, figure out how to extract value from there.
Absolutely. And it's fun too. It gives the ability to have really cool, just like different ways to gamify things and have fun and drop rewards to people just for participating in a way that they might not even thought was possible or even like had expected to. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like Hello Kitty Sanrio here, but the name of the game is, if I got to dangle a carrot so I could teach you guys to network with each other, meet each other, follow each other, then that's what we're going to do. Because that's what a real ecosystem should look like. It shouldn't just be a bunch of people feuding in a Discord. It should be like, hey, guys, get to meet each other, get to know each other. And this is a really fun way to do it. So
absolutely. And incentivizing it, what it does is it will eventually make it so we're working together to grow, and everyone's getting a piece of that growth, whether it's
exactly
the social media aspect of it or the financial aspect of it, and they're both tied together. And
exactly,
it's just gonna it's gonna be a positive feedback loop Whereas the more people join and they get with it, like, and then absolutely, I'm sure people will start collaborating just for the sake of they have things in common because they're now interacting with each other more because of the networking. So it's really going to grow a community in a real way that's beyond what anybody else is even capable of doing because they don't have that infrastructure.
Originally when we put these people together in one room together, they were trying to knock each other's heads off the block in order to compete to win trials. But what me and the team and I had noticed is that, you know, the humanity came in and it was beautiful. All of a sudden, they're helping each other figure out the puzzle, even though there can only be a small amount of winners. And it's like they don't want to let each other lose anymore. Now they want to like combine forces and basically take us down instead. And I thought that was so cool. Like, hell yeah, dude, you go against, you know, the 1%. And, you know, you make it your own. Like, you take care of one another. So you would see sometimes an individual would lose, and then everybody would get mad at us and be like, you know what? Even though that was a technicality, give them another shot. And we'd be like, all right, let us give them another shot. You know. So I feel like the same thing, like you just said, would happen when every time an individual comes into our Discord that's new, we get to actually sponsor their raids right away and get everyone following them and give them, you know, that ability to network.
Absolutely. And then even like, it's like, and that's just one thing, like that couldn't even be developed upon too, where it's like even people randomly getting a raid sponsored for them just on the platform out of nowhere, like because they're part of the ecosystem. And it's almost like a raffle where you're just going to get this boost in social media because we're rewarding the community for doing it. Yep. You know, and again, everybody wins to say it. So it's just like, it's really, I'm super excited about it because like that's the kind of thing where it's just like, it really shows the value of what Web3 can do and how we can give each other advantages and reward each other for doing it and create that positive feedback loop that really is going to grow this community and make it fun for other people to join the community as they see the benefits that we're having and how easy it is to have them because we went so much lengths to build these platforms.
Well, that's, you know, it was man, that's like, it's like a double-edged sword, right? Like building and doing it in a frugal way and not minting every 5 minutes. Yeah, it's gonna take a bit to actually make something of value, right? But in this space, you know how people get, they're like, oh, you fucking scammer, you're not ready yet, you're lying. It's like, nah, dude.
No, bro, like it's a roadmap for a reason. Like it's good. It's like, it's not like, I wish we had it pre-produced and packaged, you know what I mean? That'd be great.
And we're, you know, it's all about vetting the right people. It's all about making sure to cut the right corners and avoid spending when not needed. Because, you know, when you want comfort, oh, you overspend, right? Everything is beautiful when you want comfort. Oh, we're getting the Ubers there. We're getting the best hotel rooms. Nah, man, it's like, dude, we're getting one Airbnb. MFers got to figure out how to like coexist with each other. We're trying to go as cheap as humanly possible. We had CB driving us on some days. Shout out CB Hash. He drove us around to a CNFT con to save us some bucks. That was cool. So yeah, man.
Nice. Yeah,
that's a holder too, man. That guy's a badass, man.
Dude, building is howling, bro. Like, because like, and then it's even like staying on top of the tech as developed, because it's all emerging tech. So like literally, like you're working on a version of something or a build, and next thing you know, they're like, hey, we just made this cool ass thing real quick that really can just completely overhaul your workflow, but it will require you to now stop, like get rid of something and now put this in here. You know what I mean?
That like you went Node.js, that's too bad. You should have gone Rust. Do it all over again. Take back the last 6 months.
Exactly. Oh, you want 13? Well, we released 15. What's up? Like, it's like, all right, I get it. So it's just, yeah, man.
That's a whole nother argument. That's what I hate about those fucking things, bro. They stay fucking updating and making you have to rework everything. Something you can't really tell people because they're just like, oh, shut up. You're just complaining about nothing. It's like, nah, dude, this is a real complaint.
It's hell on earth. But whatever the case is, we like pushed through it, and now it's gonna be awesome to have this cool ass ecosystem product that has this awesome core of value, which is the platform Raiders Guild, and then how it can, you know, basically help us build not only just our presence, but of the platform or the project itself, but then also build everyone's individual presence too, and really make it so we're just a super.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, bro. Is empower these MFers so that all the content creators, now that ChatGPT dropped that cool ass Sora thing and GPT-4, these MFers can just like build content around it. We could just keep giving them the platform, the shine, the push power, the snowball effect, and the ones that actually want to participate, you know, might get themselves some attention that they never had before, especially once we integrate YouTube and Instagram. We're talking a whole nother game there, you know?
Well, exactly. And TikTok, and it's just like, again, like, especially like you say, like, and the ease of making content, and then like even like, you know, incentivizing, whether it's building on the lore of the order, or like, you know, any little thing. It's like we can really put together campaigns and initiatives that are focused, because we have this platform where we're just literally pushing people towards the content that we're building. And so if we're all building it together, it just looks and grows awesome. It has this cohesiveness, dude, and it's like, and then the ease of creating it. So, and then we're rewarding each other for doing it, and it's also creating content that's also feedbacking against everything. And again, like, it's just, this is going to be the future. Like, as far as just like, you know,
the competitors don't get it. Every time they build rating platforms, it's always for this self-serve bullshit interest, and it's always from like individuals that either fluff up the followers. Come on, guys. I know SEO. I just keep it to myself. I'm like, God, yeah, you got 50K followers with fucking what, 30 likes and 20 retweets and 1,000 views. Yeah, sure thing, my friend. Yeah, sure. Those.
And then they're idiots. Like, they leave it in the hands of the project to reward people. So it's just like, really, like, it's just not fun at all, these things. And so like the automation that we have, the fact that, like, you know, everyone gets their stuff, it's all smart contract based. It's just like, this is what leveraging this tech is going to do. And once we do it, like, we're going to be ahead of everyone. And then we're going to have the ability to really create just different kinds of like aspects of the project that we already have kind of coming down the pipeline. We're talking about the comic book, we're talking about the runes, we're talking about the events and all these other things that,
which we're going to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. That just build out like what's going to be like, where it's one thing to have just like this kind of like marketing kind of core platform, but the fact that we have all these other different things
that's the point. You see, that's what I was trying to tell them the other day, bro. The marketing platform is there to eventually then empower every single thing that we're actually building. What every other competitor that never even used the terminology raid, doesn't even know how to get 100 followers on their own, but can raise IDOs and do all this other shit. I'm not mentioning any specific names. I'm just saying what I've witnessed across the board here. And one thing I've realized is, oh, you really just are doing this only for the short term. Like, you're literally only integrating X. Like, you don't see the bigger picture of like, dude, fuck just X. We got to go on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. What is wrong with you?
Exactly. We have to get these influencers using our platform to incentivize their community, because everyone that joins the platform, whether they realize it or not, they become a voice for the order. And then, as long as we're incentivizing them and putting these different, you know, like these different posts and all this content on the platform, they become our voice. And then their network becomes our voice intrinsically by the way social media works. So like, this thing really is,
especially with the participants being it's like you said, it becomes like a synergy, right? Because then you have the individuals that are always associated to our account. So even if a Web 2 person were to use our platform in the future for, I don't know, let's say running up 100, 300 followers instantly on TikTok or whatever, right? They're associating themselves with accounts that associate with us. So we'll be in their algo eventually, no matter what. It just happens by chance.
Exactly. And like, again, like you said, like these people, like, it's like, so you think about it, like it wouldn't be just one post either. You run up 300 like followers, now you have to have consistently at least 150, 200, you know, and engage in people engaging with whatever future content. And then as we start building out the platform more and working on like the AI we have and all those other things, then we're able to even curate the content and the comments and things and really create value for, like, literally, like, it's like we'll be able to essentially make everyone a valuable participant in a way where they're now becoming an influencer on their own right. So we want to become like almost like turning everyone that's our core, you know, like group, core community members, into essentially micro influencers.
Yeah, we want to give you clout, guys. TLDR is we want to give you each and one of you clout.
Clout like a motherfucker. Like that's no really way other to put it. Like
status is everything. Right now, people are willing to throw away their whole lives, families, everything for instant gratification from validation from likes. So if we can give you that without having to crash out, guys, it's a godsend.
Exactly. And then that
just look at Shannon Sharp.
Word. Like, but yeah, no, seriously though, because then whatever ideas you guys have, now you have a marketing engine that you can immediately apply to whatever profile or anything that you're doing in your own personal life. And that's the real goal and value of it. So
which is where the comics come in, and we're going to talk about that in a sec too.
100%. And so it's like that. The more we grow it and work for it and do it, it becomes our own personal superpower, our own tool that now we can utilize for different ventures. And yeah, there's just a lot of intrinsic value that comes with that platform.
Yeah, and try not to say too much about what we're doing at Raiders Guild right now, because some of these people are talentless, bro. And I'm just done with MFers stealing ideas. It'll never happen again. When we drop stuff, it's just gonna drop on their head, and they're gonna be like, "What? How do we stop it?" It's not gonna. It's not gonna stop.
If anything, yeah. Let's go to the rollout. Let's go down this Medium article.
All right. So we went over it a bit here, but revenue sharing via the conduit, again, dashboard all in one. We're flipping the old model. We're only wanting the publishers and creators to win, aka just like Joyless was saying, aka you guys, the ones that are actual participants, the ones that are actually building things or building content, making memes, wanting a name for yourself. Those are the people we really want to empower the most, and through that, the trickle effect is that passively those who can't participate, because MFers are busy. Some of these guys got like 5 beautiful kids, man. They're being driven crazy by 5 kids and a wife. So it's like, they're not gonna be able to participate all the time. So the passive should help those guys out, while the participants in the forefront can also really extract some good value from it. So all right. So the rev share model, works as the following. These are the places that we're going to be getting back some, liquid. Yeah. I'm just I'm still I have PTSD from 5 years ago, man. So I'm watching every word I said.
Everything you said. I feel you. And
SEC wanted everyone. Charles Hoskinson even had a change of governance last minute just to get away from them folks, man. Come on.
That's wild, boy.
My man just rushed that roadmap. But listen, that's not the point. All right. So it's as follows. So we have the comics, right? We put out comic issue number 1. Of course, we minted during a time where it was like 20-something cent ADA, 30-cent ADA. We were not able to completely be able to, facilitate all of those issues and ship them out, and get the test prints and pay the artist and basically, be able to make promotional material around it, which you need badly in the Web 2 world when trying to market at CNFTCon. This time around, we really got the numbers right. We really know where we went wrong originally. And from this time around, we'll be able to print issue number 1, issue number 2. Also, we've added more pages to issue number 1 because it was missing a lot of, at a certain point, it kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, it didn't flow right. There was some gaps in the story. So we added that in because in the Web 2 world with real comic nerds, they will be, and some of our comic nerds even called some of those out, they will be livid about those facts. Like, hey, so what happened in between these 2 segments? Where did that go? Like, what time lapse was this? So we made sure to fill those in, because we're really trying to make a name for ourselves in the Web 2 world. Many of you may not know who FUD comics, like Silly Willies. The whole comic market has been on an uptrend for the last 20 years. Year after year, more issues are sold, more indie devs publish. More indie publishers are able to sell out. Most of the Kickstarter campaigns and Indiegogo campaigns that are actually successful are usually a board game, a card game, or a comic book. And those are repeated success stories with those. So we're gonna not try to reinvent the wheel here. Make sure that we can get these comics out to Web 2 folks. There's a QR code in back for anyone keen enough and interested enough that wants to scan it and fall through that, the click funnel of educational content to learn about blockchain tech. But outside of that, it's okay if they don't want to. The point, the name of the game is we want people to adore these comics every time we go to a convention. We want them to buy them. We want them to take them home, and we want them to become avid readers and fans of us. They don't need to own an NFT. They just need to buy that comic, and you boys and gals and other just need to see that conduit reward start cranking up and know that it's coming right back home. That's the name of the game. We go outside the wall, aka the bubble. We go get value. We bring it back home into the crypt. Print shop, same thing. Right now, we've been doing business to business for a while now, for about like 2 years. It's actually one of the things that's kept this project together behind the scenes. Also, we've used at every one of our conventions, one of the best things about having, your own printers, industrial size printers at that, is that you can make all your marketing materials. So we printed out the banner that we had that was about 60 inches wide. We printed out cutouts that we had, and Nemesis, aka Christine, was cutting them out with one of our holders I hold in the backyard of the Airbnb we had. And it allows us to, make really cool presentations and for a crazy nominal fee. And in this case, now we're going to take it to the next level and go B2C, business to customer, with this puppy, and now be, a Shopify page where we're having competitive rates. And if they're in the New York area, they'll have same day delivery. Many galleries adore this idea. When I've pitched it to them, I go to open galleries every Thursday with business cards. And me and Nemesis have been collecting names for quite some time now. And we have a very good Excel spreadsheet full of warm leads and people who are ready to opt in once this website is actually up. And plenty of her friends and her whole art world want to get involved. Again, that revenue comes back to Conduit, goes back to Mallard's. Merch sales, same difference. All right. Now we're going back to we just explained this whole process here. It flows back. We're talking comic, print shop, events, merch sales. We missed adding Raiders Guild here, but I'll edit it, and Raiders Guild's supposed to go in there. So 1 second. I'm gonna just make a little post-it note for myself, a digital post-it. Add Raiders Guild blurb to Medium. Okay. Obviously we've spoken about this earlier. This is only going to help community growth. It's only going to help the project's visibility one way or another. I feel like sometimes people are very hard-headed in this space. Like, you'll tell them something that obviously makes sense. Like, hey, rating platforms are good. They're like, you're paying people to do marketing? That's like a scam. It's like, so ads are a scam. Okay. So, oh my gosh, never mind. So in this case, I added something very simple, stupid here for anyone. Visibility drives new sales. Then new sales from people who like the things that they're buying repeat buy, and the cycle then continues to go back to Conduit, that then goes back to Mallard's.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
exactly. This is like a revenue flow, and it's just really just about being comprehensive about where you can pull revenue from the funds that are being raised, and then from there just creating as many different revenue streams as you can to that way build and expand upon whatever we already have that we've developed throughout this entire bear quasi bull market.
Yeah. Don't even remind me, man. I'm still I still have bear mace all over my face, man. So,
but yeah, no, it's just this is the kind of thing where it's just like we are really putting together all of the resources that you've done, because I've known about the print shop for quite a while now too, and so this is great that like you're able to kind of just like that to see it kind of like is developed now to where we're able to go B2C with it and bring in like just more revenue, and then that even kind of goes to like outside of just like the galleries now. Once we start showing revenue and showing product, then it's just like bringing that into Web3 as well, because these people need prints for everything. So it's just like as we start even putting it on, getting partnerships for the Raiders Guild, and then giving them even discounts and giving them ways that way they can kind of get involved.
Exactly.
Like
and one of my favorites, when the months are looking nice and net positive, all of a sudden we put out a little credit. Hey guys, X amount of people can win, $25, $50+ of credit on the store. Go ahead, go print your kids, go print like the graduation ceremony, whatever. And we'll take care of that for you. And I think that's really neat. I think they'll see some value in that as well. Like, hey man, one of the best days of my life just happened. I'm sitting on, a bit of credit for printers, for the print shop. Might as well go ahead and print me and my kids at the baseball game today. I think once they can feel it, it's in their hands, they'll get tangible value, and it's like a no-brainer at that point.
Absolutely. And again, this is all just like the beginning of things too. So it's like how we grow this just all depends on how much work the whole entire community puts in. So
these MFers are riled up. They're ready. They're switching their PFPs back. Today was a family, shout outs to Mallard Monday. Today was a family reunion. We had guys we hadn't seen in a long time who still had nothing but love for us, put their fucking robe back on. Hey guys, let's go. And we got the same seat for them in the chambers. Like, there you go, man. Your room's still waiting for you, man. Like, we welcome back. So don't worry about that though. They're galvanized. We keep the hype going. We don't fucking stop. We keep the pedal pushed all the way down, and yeah, they're gonna flow behind it, because this is the kind of community that we have.
Beautiful. That's what's up, bro. All right, cool. And then so I see like we got some cool upgrades coming up for the Raiders Guild.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have some major updates. We'll bring that up in a second. So I want to bring up something that happened in our chat right now. So Damien, one of our beloved community members, I've met this man multiple times in IRL. He's badass, super cool, down to earth, and he's also IT head himself. Very smart guy. He loves Raiders Guild, and he's given us some feedback. So right now he says, can you temporarily remove the max amount of raids you can do until Discord login is enabled? If it's easy and possible. 2 raids a day, fucking with my payday. And he's right. And that's something Sub-Zero is trying to work, but technically right now, Damien, at the stage that he's at, which he's basically ready to release Discord login in the next 24 hours or so, we're not going to be able to do that. So I'm sorry, but just know that at least we have this major update coming out like anytime now. Like, he's currently online right now working on it. We just spoke to him. He's on it, so don't worry about it. And pretty soon, once we have Rune as a viable payment option and rewards option, those restrictions are going to come down a whole lot. Because at that point, Mallards can push their own weight around with their Rune, and people who aren't involved in the ecosystem can start opting in through the ecosystem by earning that Rune. And we'll even have like a little shop and giveaway and raffles later set up where they can earn their first Mallard just by chipping in, a small amount of Rune they might have earned. And it just so happens that they win this raffle from a tiny little bit of Rune that they've earned from raiding all week as a non-holder. And now they have themselves a duck. So the restrictions do have to come down.
Absolutely. And then, yeah, it's just about kind of just like incentivization and just kind of like, they I believe would even kind of just be able to come down as people grow their participation level on the platform as well too. So like it's one of those things where like, because everything has to be kind of run intelligently, where it's like, there is a budget for everything. So in order for everyone to even kind of like be able to participate.
Yeah, that's the thing they don't understand too. It's like, this is pseudo a cool way to also like not cause rate limiting. So like there's always this like workaround that we have to like song and dance that we have to do like
in all transparency, it's good for everyone to know exactly what's going on, so that way no one's like, because a lot of it is just like when people are just sitting there anxious, not knowing why something's doing what it's doing or taking why it's taking the time it's taking. And if like people know, it's just like, yeah, dude, like APIs for Twitter, every time like we do a rate, everything like that, like to even have like a really good like amount of rate, it's $5,000 a month.
Yep.
So that's real. Like that means that we have to be accruing that amount of money just for that aspect of the platform in and of itself.
If you guys want like endless, unlimited rating, it's gonna take a buck or two. For sure.
Exactly. So it's like, it's not anything that's impossible. It's just that, again, like we're just building something that's like, that needs to have the entire, like there's just a framework for it, once we like have a real kind of revenue stream coming in where we can start allocating this amount of, like runway for specific operations, like that thing, then of course we do that, because all that's going to do is allow us to expand. But even just the expansion to other platforms that don't necessarily have that pay for API system.
Yeah, those will have different restrictions. That's the good news.
That's the good news. So it's like, we don't have to, when it comes to TikTok or when it comes to like, Meta, they don't really have it like that. No. So it's just like, so you can like, and again, the world is bigger than X. Like, so X is good because our base is there. Web3 is there. So like our original growth can come from there, because it's not going to be hard to onboard people, because it's not like we're, out there missionaries teaching like brand Nubians about like Jesus. No, it's just, we're literally talking to our own people about what this is. So it's like, this is our space. But once we leave this space and like start expanding into the greater Web 2 world and other social media platforms, like then we're gonna have to go there, and it's gonna be a different kind of campaign. It's gonna be much more product oriented, and so like it's just like a lot of things that we can do to like really start growing that, and then we can take that and then bring that back to X, grow it on X, and even see the value proposition if it's even there for us to do it there.
Dude, I don't even want to tell them about what me and Sub-Zero got going with the whole PPV, CPC. Like we got this whole ad way where it's this whole other way to raid where they watch X amount of something and they get payments through there. And I'm not going to say much more before somebody with a crappy branding that doesn't try hard enough tries to release something like it. So
yeah, no, it's dope, because again, it's like I already see where it's going, because me and Sub-Zero talk about it all the time. Like the gamification of this is almost as endless as our imagination and our willingness to create it. And so just like what you said, where it's like the same thing, like when you go to play like the little phone games, whatever, and they're like, oh, like if you watch this video, you can earn this gem, so you can go buy this premium thing. It's the same concept, It's,
no, all right, we're done. We're done talking about it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you that the talent pool here isn't that big at times. So we're gonna now stop. All right, so let's move on. All right.
Yep.
So okay, cool. We went over this whole segment right here pretty much. Oh, right. One of the other things that's going into Conduit is obviously a part of secondary royalties. Now, when the Conduit is ready to come out, it's going to have its own Medium article with exact numbers on it. This thing is girthy enough as it is, and this is basically an overview of what's happening in the next few months, with this part happening directly next month, and so is the Conduit. So, all right. Before I get ahead of myself, because there's so much to talk about. Right, so let's move on to Raiders Guild upgrades, which we basically, laid out here. Sub-Zero needs an underling. We're trying to get him some more budget to be able to do that. So now he has a different individual helping him, and he's able to push it even harder with the updates. So that's another reason why we're, this part right here comes into play, which is, hey, we might need a little bit of support here, guys, but don't worry. That support now means that you get a lot more back in return. All right, so we've went over, new rating features, the Discord login. We just talked about Discord and Instagram, TikTok integrations, etc. Right, BTC wallet integration and the ability to accept payments in BTC is going to be also added. We already talked about Rune and how that's going to be accepted in raids, and how that makes perfect sense, because essentially hey, you bought one mallard, or hey, you bought a whole relic set, and you're sitting on a bit of rune all month, but your wife has a new idea that she wants to put on Instagram, and you just feel heartbroken watching her not be able to break 10 followers, even though she's trying her heart out. And that happens. Like, I'm painting a real picture.
That is real as it gets, dude. Let me tell you something.
Dude, all my, like, when I used to do SEO marketing and stuff, this would be some of my client stories. Like, hey, man, I'm just trying to help my wife's bespoke jewelry company right now. And, like, try, like.
Yeah, no. So, and it's like, yeah, they have the right intention and heart, but they don't understand the game, and that a lot of it's pay to play for one. If it's not, then you got to be really good at your content, so you're just attracting eyeballs. You need to be attracting eyeballs regardless of what you're selling. You almost don't even talk about what you're selling until, like, you've got enough people just coming to your page.
Exactly. It's like, go ahead and throw out the whole pitch deck and the biggest marketing rollout that you've spent the last 9 months working on to 12 followers. Please do that.
Exactly. Please do that. And so, like, yeah. So even just like again, like giving people the jump start, whether it's your own homies or like other people, you can start to see where this becomes valuable as. Social media becomes the place for people to market and advertise everything as it is already. And there's always a new person trying to be somebody on there. So it's like, it's just, again, dude, this is,
let me paint a picture real quick. This is what I mean. So, like, for the individual, maybe they're in a third world country or something, and they got themselves a mallard, right? And now they're actually able to, before, right? They're like, well, I got to spend ADA. And that's sometimes not easy, right? To be able to do it continuously. Now with the ability of, hey, you're staking this mallard anyways, how about you just use the rune you make every month from the mallard on that, endeavor that your wife's doing on Instagram to get her new followers. Very simple concept to understand.
Absolutely.
All right. Then, so as it works now, Raiders Guild takes a percentage. If I remember off the top of my head, I think it's like 15% for operational fees to help us continue paying for API, database hosting, and all this good stuff. And technically, we still need a little bit more help there, which is why we're going to get to the bottom segment and bring that back up. But now when you do it in Rune, since we don't want to grab the Rune and dump it and do anything with it, what we'll essentially do is not only will we grab the dev fee and burn it in Rune, but we're also going to grab the whole 15% operational fee and burn it in Rune. And then all the rest of the Rune still goes to the participant prize pool.
Oh, wow.
All right. And then, all right. So, yeah, we already we already broke all that down. So, next segment. I'm going to let you guys know, read this right here. There are 4 covers to this, but of course we didn't want to. One of my favorite parts of booster packs and comic rarities is that you find out on the day of really what's, what still hasn't been seen. So I can't wait for them to see like the mythic cover and all that good shit. So guys, this is a supporter mint. We'll be fully transparent with you. Guys, we minted during the bear. It's been 3-point-something years now. I don't even know what year it is anymore. I got to be honest, Joyless. Like, this space, it ages you so quickly. Like, I feel like I've been here a mini lifetime, to be quite honest. But the truth of the matter is, as we wrote here, we minted during some wild times where right after we raised funds, at that time, you got fudded for stabilizing. I don't know why. Then you were fudded for not stabilizing on time after. If you stabilized, you were seen as an ADA extractor, which was wild. And then if you didn't stabilize fast enough and lost a big percentage of what you could have used for runway, people then will fudge you later for that. Like they're hindsight kings.
Then you're an incompetent. Yeah, then you're an incompetent.
Yeah. They're super hindsight kings.
Exactly. Essentially, you're damned if you do it, you're damned if you don't in the court of public opinion. So at this point, we just build and create value and don't really.
No, we're doing it the right way now. I don't care who's kicking and screaming. This is for your own benefit that we survive the whole gamut. Like we got to stick around. And we're not going to play the same bullshit game as we did before, listening to too many fucking cooks in the kitchen. So all right, so the FTX collapse happened, biggest fucking thing since like Mount Gox and markets. It was a whole giant black swan event. I mean, it was back to back. I almost forgot. It was my boy Do Kwon wrecked the whole market. Then fucking Curly wrecked the whole market. SBF.
Yep.
Dude, it was horrific. And then we still needed to survive during that time. And many may not know this that weren't a part of it, but we were still doing IRL events. We were still pumping morale. We were still building Raiders Guild. We never stopped during any of it.
And literally just participating in the space when the space was at an all-time low, and keeping it's keeping that spirit, the spirit of innovation and development there. And then following through on it while everybody else is in Twitter spaces complaining. We're actually building things on the back end so we can have something that's valuable when the time comes. And right now we're in a very interesting place with crypto where I feel like it's time to really capitalize on just what the space has like kind of relaxed on as far as just our ability to kind of create without being looked over, like, by the powers that be for making money or using money or creating like, any kind of thing. Like it's just things are getting much different. So it's where it allows for much more freedom and openness and networking with the IRL world or the Web 2 world, as people want to call it, you know what I mean? And and create like real connections that can again reward our community.
Yeah, they're seeing it less like a scam now. When you have like a bar talk with someone, he's like, oh, that's that thing Trump was talking about.
Exactly. And even if they are seeing it as a scam, it's like, well, Trump did it. It's like people are once people it's like once you see institutionalized people engaging in it, it just creates the optics where it's like, all right, then like
the validation, right?
Exactly. Whether anyone feels whatever way about it. Some people are going to say whatever about Trump. Some people are going to say it was a scam. Some people are going to say it's the meme coin. Who cares? The point of the matter is the president of the United States made a meme coin. So as far as all,
I still can't believe that.
Exactly. So as far as all availability goes, we have to get the green light by the commander in chief himself. All right, to go about, like engaging in this technology and creating what he wants to do, which is creating jobs, creating value, and bringing that value back to America. Even though ADA is going to be like, a capital gains free token that's being endorsed. So it's like there's just a lot of opportunity here. We want to capitalize on it, especially as much as we've built. And
yeah, definitely. And I think everyone understands that, and I think a lot of people are behind us in that regard. One of the things that I always told the team since day one, even before you joined us, Joyless, is that, hey, look, everybody else is gonna be minting every 5 seconds. And it's funny, they always need 1 million exact dollars. It's like fucking dealing with Dr. Evil or some shit. It's like every single time, it just so happens it needs to be 1 exact million. Like, what? What kind of fucking weird equation is that every single time you need a surplus of $1 million exact?
Very exactly. Like,
very odd.
Worked out. Like,
no, so we thought to ourselves, you know what? Screw that. We give them as much as we can free up front, especially if it's not ready yet. Like relics, people were mad later, or some people at least were mad later on. They never understood that, and I try to tell them that in advance. Guys, these aren't fully ready yet. And so, therefore, we don't feel right even charging you ADA for these, but we do feel right knowing that we can test this all out, see where this goes next, and slowly start applying utility as we go along. The main utility of it originally, and this is what still gets me, is that it was supposed to just be for Ascension art. You get 5 unique relics, which equal 1 set. You get 5 mallards that have 1 unique school of thought out of all 5, which equal 1 set. And then you get new art out of it, which is the Ascension art, where they evolve essentially. And they basically, get to that like MAGA stage in the occult where they have now fully become embodied in that like, top level mage basically.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like they're full on now. They're like an alkalite at this point.
Exactly. Like some sort of deity.
Yeah, exactly.
And, to this dude, so we ended up turning it into, okay, you can use that for raffles. Okay, you can use it for weighted votes. all right, you can earn rune from it. Then you can use the rune to then opt into some sort of raffle that we have for NFTs that we were buying periodically. So in that regard, which is what we're going to get to right here, bro, we've given them just in pure ADA value, you know, over 900k ADA, like literally pure ADA. And then when we're talking about like an asset value, like NFTs bought for them that they raffled essentially a empty non-LP having points token, it was so many more hundreds of thousands worth of ADA there. So even though we only minted one time at the beginning of our project before minting for our comic, which came about 2 years after that, or a year and a half, 2 years after that, we were just giving back the whole fucking time. And sometimes I'll share a little small grievance. You'll hear MFers still ask me, like, where is the Ascension art? I'm like, bruh, like, we're going to give you that shit for free now. And can you go use your relics on all the other cool shit? Like, go raid or something, bro. Like, just stop asking me shit. Like, no, weren't you the one fudding art like 5 threads ago? Like, now you want the art, huh? Just to call me out on it. All right, anywho.
All right.
So, yeah, we basically explained this part as well. The hardships, how, and you just mentioned it, how pretty much everything's ready to go on the pipeline. Either it's already done or just about to be finished, and we're ready to go. So we've gotten to a point where it's, between a rock and a good place type of situation, where if we don't get to this stage here, we're going to be in a bad place, which is the rock behind us. But the good place in front of us is that the market is ripe for the taking right now. Many founders crashed out and lost it all. Many projects gave up because they never had the goal. And they did this shit because it was a cutesy trend that they bandwagon hopped on, and motherfuckers didn't even know how to use Twitter 5 years ago. And I'm sharing a lot of grievances. I'm sorry. Like, this is like, I'm fudding myself and everyone around me. Jesus Christ. But I'm like, can you tell it's gotten to me over the years? Yeah. Jesus. So we're a fully doxed team, guys, at the end of the day. You'll get to know Joyless a lot more. You'll be able to see what he looks like, etc. But we're a doxed team. Zara, aka Nemesis. Zara's her artist name, aka Chrissy. Me, Demosthenes, aka Francisco. Box Lord, Shalad Jones. Like, us. Sub-Zero he's always down to get on camera. Like, anytime we've been talking to certain partners that are trying to get involved with the Whitelist Raiders Guild, he hops on camera, or he'll ask, like, hey, do you want me on camera, with his accent? And he doesn't care. So none of us are trying to hide. None of us are trying to be Annan. We're not making excuses like, hey, we must talk in text because it's easier to understand. I can't get on voice calls. All this nonsense. So stop trusting all these, dude, it's 2025. Enough of this fucking Annan founder bullshit. Like, you guys want sustainability? Start by looking for this. Look for motherfuckers who are willing to show you who the fuck they are. Because, like, why do you need to hide?
To hide, and more importantly, there's the receipts. Like, you have to make it make sense. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is like this sector, this tech crypto has kind of stagnated to a point where it's like, if now that, like, it's like we've got, like, the pop kind of like culture, like, and attention, especially specifically with like politics and like our president and all sort of stuff. It's just like, this is time now to really, really like capitalize on it and show and prove in a way where it's like, whoa, like, these guys got tech. This tech's easy to use and it's applicable and it makes sense for everyone because everyone's using social media and everyone wants to get their social media blown up. So it's just like adding to that, then having product that actually we can use to push via said social media, and build upon. It just creates something that I will guarantee you no other project is even touching upon at this point.
Yeah, they're not even thinking about that aspect.
Thinking about it, exactly.
Every time somebody was like, "Oh, they're building a competitor platform," this person, I would always like look at the whole grand scheme of what they're doing. I'm just like, nah, those guys are just in it for their quick buck, bro. Like,
exactly, dude. Like, they're not thinking about like how to really turn this into like a LLC with a and really build out different businesses and connect them. And so it's like, we're talking about like on paper money. And then we're talking about being able to do this on a scale
that essentially we would love to hope to go as far as global, because technically it already is global. The holders are from all over the globe. So it's like we have like something that, like, if we really, really put that work in, will benefit everyone exponentially as far as it grows. And if like this is like one of the things where it's like, you know, you see people come out like, we're gonna make a video game, we're making this, we're making that. We're picking things that are historically profitable with low overhead, so that way everyone can actually
we're dealing with paper, plastic, and cloth. Joyless. Nice. Hell yeah, dude.
You know, and then obviously, like, you know, like as far as like beyond just me bringing like, you know, Sub-Zero into the mix of the whole thing, like we have a whole entire kind of IRL framework that we're going to start bringing forward too, in order to kind of really create this Web 2, Web 3 kind of like integration and synergy funnel, where it's like we're bringing, like we're going into pop culture life, not like as like new tech, but as a brand, you know. And brands can be introduced anywhere at any given time. It's not like you're trying to, like, you know, and then if you and then with enough incentives, especially at parties where it's just like, you know, or IRL events where it's like people are not only going there for whether it's the networking or the fun, then you're like introducing really fun, cool ways for them to be onboarded into, whether it's the community of the Mallard orders or chains or sponsors.
Yeah, dude, we could just get a Web3 sponsor beer company, for instance, right? And all of a sudden, everybody there is drinking Web3 beer. Like they don't even know that it's a NFT company that's serving them that beer until they look at the can, and then they just so happen to learn. The name of the game is don't fucking be cringe. When you throw IRL events, don't call it the crypto cave. Like, just chill. Like, make it. Make it understandable for the general public. Hey guys, this is a music show at a venue. Hey guys, this is a cool rave party that's completely sanctioned by the city and we're allowed to do it. Hey guys, this is a gallery. Anyone off the sidewalk understands that simple concept. They walk right in, and you just don't act cringe, and they'll stick around.
And I mean, like, really, dude, like, it doesn't take much to make something that was necessarily not cool. Like, we've seen it happen kind of all the time. Like, even like right now, like popular sentiment has flipped and changed in ways that no one would ever expect. And all you need to do is create a culture around something that is mixed with another culture that relates, like techno, for instance. So people that are going to techno parties that are constantly being introduced to the idea of, like, you know, this technological anything, the idea of crypto being there, as long as it's not some, like, again, crypto this or whatever, no. But it's like, okay, cool. So you're there, you know, you're dancing, whatever. And now there's booths that are incentivizing you, whether it's drinks, whether it's, you know, any kind of cool merch. It could be even like, there's like all kinds of things, dispensaries, all these other different cool things that can be a part of it. It could even be other kinds of events that are there that are like, you know, so now we're cross-marketing events, which I think is something that's been happening a lot in New York City, which is kind of cool. So it's like what we're doing again is just building out a network that all comes back again to the framework that we have already with the technology that we're building. So it's all this like kind of like interconnected, like cohesive kind of like revenue frame where it's like everything feeds into each other.
The name of the game too, bro, that we've been talking about over and over is we can't trust the fucking market, bro. So you need to focus on rev funnels that are literally not pegged to crypto. No one in the party scene gives a fuck what happens to Bitcoin, and we're cool with that because we're gonna get fucking revenue from that party scene that doesn't care about crypto.
Exactly. And then from there, we can decide what we're going to do as far as whether it's coming to reinvesting, creating more crypto or more Web3 kind of technology and building on that framework, or we can kind of do, you know, move more into pushing towards the print shop and expanding its operations and expanding its, like, you know, its reach and leads so we can get more people there. But the whole point is to, again, create revenue streams from as many different angles as possible, so that way you can use that to fund expansion, but also expand on the current builds that are already out and grow them and make them more cohesive too.
Yeah, so definitely, dude. Because, like, look, when I think about, like, you know, all right, grab all the rev and then just start opting into like different Web3 business share models and stuff. you start to see how you could really lose it all by doing that, because all of a sudden your partners go belly up, platform disappears, or MFers want to go bridge to a new chain, yank the liquidity out. All of a sudden you're mining for zero. You're holding on to a token that the project abandoned to go to Ethereum for, like, and we can't trust that shit. This is why this makes perfect sense to just focus on Web 2 when it comes to bringing in the bacon.
Yep, exactly. And then as far as Web 3 goes, or even for Raiders Guild and the platform, it's just like, again, because with the people that we're kind of working with too, like, it's like if your interest is in growing your presence, you know, and your marketing presence, that already is a sign that you are a project or a business that keenly understands what needs to be done in order for you to succeed. And so it's even like just having that now, and then working with people, we're going to be able to filter in just all these different projects that come in and be able to be like, okay, well, they're doing something awesome. Let's work with them. Or these guys, I see what they're trying to do. We can do raids for them, but let's not necessarily, like put any money into what they're doing. So it's like, as we start building these connections and stuff like that, whether it's via people that are like that are buying it, or people that we're just working with, or doing sponsors. Again, what we're doing is being able to be at the forefront of opportunities too that we can bring to the community itself. So that's something that's really cool too. The more we work with people and grow, the more we can bring like premier opportunities that other people won't be able to have access to.
Yeah,
because people
exactly.
come work with them. So
like sponsorships.
Yep,
all of a sudden, we got ourselves a location where Mallards can pull up to, and it's pretty much free. Or all of a sudden, we got a Mallard duck on a can of a drink that normally would never interact with Web3, but they loved us at one party that we threw, and now we're because for instance, Nemesis, whenever she does these events, bro, she'll get sponsored by like a brewery. She'll get sponsored by, the other day she got the last event she threw, she got sponsored by Pop Culture Soda, which is this organic soda brand. They would have never done that shit if we tweeted at them from the Mallard Order account,
Oh, of course not, no.
So, all right, let's get into the nitty gritty about some of the mint details that are shown here. As stated all the way up here, guys, there will be 2 more Medium articles separating these subjects, right? And one of those will be just for the mint, and one of those will be just for Conduit. So in this case, we're going to go over the one for the mint. So as it stands, and from all the number crunching that we've done, 3,000 of these quote-unquote reflection voids are going to be up for sale. These are essentially, I put up the lore for it, but it's essentially a mirror that's a window, and one can manifest and pull anything out of it. In this case, it makes perfect sense thematically because, the rev share model, it's basically like, hey, through your screen, you're getting rewards from a different plane of existence, the Web 2 world. So that's why I thought it'd be funny to write that into the lore about a few months ago. I had a different idea for what that object would be, but Boxlord and me kept going back and forth, and we decided on this. It makes more sense thematically. So there's going to be 3,000 copies. Until we get any crazy lashback, but we really need to stay firm on this number. The public price is going to be 85 ADA, but you're not just I'll go into that in a second, actually. So it's going to be 85 ADA, but you don't only need to pay an ADA. We'll also be taking IAG, Igon token. Shout outs to Igon. Hosky, shout outs to Hosky. Woof woof. Sneck, I mean, those boys just got listed on fucking Kraken today. They opened the doors up, the floodgates. So shout outs to them. Of course, we're going to take Sneck. That's the fucking premier top token in our ecosystem. They've outperformed even Bitcoin, bro. It's kind of nuts. Like price action wise for the last 2 years. What? Yeah, like if you bought Sneck pre-sale, bro, you never lost. Like you're fucking lit. Shout outs to those guys, man. They crushed it. So then we have World Mobile Token, just because still, they're a big part of our infrastructure, and they're just a big facing brand, and a lot of people are holding on to these tokens. I know that this community is hodlers. I know that sometimes they don't want to swap for ADA, and I thought of no better way to allow them to use some excess, amount of their holdings of another ecosystem, of not ecosystem, but another project's token.
Right.
You know, with enough liquidity that makes sense, that we wouldn't be hurting the chart where we're trying to get our value to raise the exact funds that we would need.
Right.
Then we
So
have
they're healthy tokens that aren't like, they're not going to be like, oh, that hurt. It's just,
yeah, exactly. It's not like some random like, you know, fly-by meme coin or some bullshit like that. Then we have min swap. I mean, it's just, you know, this shit's massive. So yeah, you're gonna be, and these are the only ones that, allowed, guys. No, we're not taking any feedback or different options on what we can add here. These are the ones. So we have then discounts. They're not stated in this because it's just an annoying read. But basically, you know, sash holders, invitation holders, Mallard duck holders, comic issue number 1 holders. We didn't forget, guys, in comic issue number 1, if you had a certain amount of collector points on the comics.mallard.io dashboard, you can go ahead right now and go check if you have collector points for the comics you have and how much you have. You'll be able to get a massive discount on this mint. There will be a window that is timed though, so you know, fair is fair. We'll make sure that window is wide open for a decent amount of time, but it won't be an infinite time. So once it closes, you will have to then pay the public mint price. These, even though we're calling them reflection voids, we just didn't want to do the same old like we normally don't. And we're not making chests, but these are basically like a booster pack of sorts, guys, because you're going to get a guaranteed comic issue number 2. And yes, you will be able to redeem it for the physical copy. And yes, issue number 1 will be redeemable as well. One random item, though, will be associated with the comic. Now, out of the raise, we should have effectively, depending on how many people actually opted in with discounts, etc., we should effectively have anywhere from like 35 to 42 around there K left over to in different milestones be able to add to the pool for what makes up these rewards. So we're looking at NFTs, ones that make sense from our ecosystem, something that has good long standing to it, something that, you know, generates rev share or something cool, something like a Titan, something like a Dirt Birds, Clay, etc.
Exactly, where it's like, it's not just an NFT, like whatever it is, like we very, very clear like that they're going to either like a community that has like really good drops or something like that, or they're super integrated with the overall overarching kind of ecosystem. So it's like, it's not just like this random NFT where it's like, all right, whatever, but it's like, it's something that gives you access to something cool that's like actually valuable. So
yeah, we're not gonna do that like cheap trick of trying to like add garbage in the pack to like stretch it out.
Get rid of our graveyard of like crap.
Yeah. Oh man, I have so many stories about people that I've watched do that. But listen, so yeah, native tokens. This will consist of some of these tokens in this list, but also other tokens. Some of your favorite tokens like Chad, Nike, and many others from the ecosystem that we've all grown to love. As well as, you know, just some nice, clean tokens with big infra behind them, like World Mobile and some other stuff, which I kind of already mentioned. You're also going to receive free merch that you haven't seen yet is actually going to be associated. You're going to be receiving comic related merch, and if whatever we have left over from the prototypes of season 0, that's also going to be added here. We're never going to redo the corduroy hats. We're never going to redo anything you saw from season 0. So just know that if you do own any of that merch now, hold on tight to it. It's, as the cool kids call, dead stock. There's going to be Rune in there as well, because essentially, again, once that LP gets injected in there, you know, you get the deal. Print shop credit. There's going to be a little voucher. I believe, hold on, let me check my post-its here. Actually, fuck that. I'm going to go over to the Kanban board. Actually, no, screw that. I'm going to go over to Miro. where I wrote all this stuff down with the team. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're looking at print shop credit anywhere from $25 to $100 worth of credit you can find in your chest, which is going to be badass. You'll be able to find pure ADA. The exact ranges of amounts I'm not going to let you guys know, because we still need to do some little bit more simulations with AI and number crunching to make sure that if every given like every variable that we can think about plays out, that people would still be able to like walk away with some decent rewards, and it wouldn't just get screwed up where one individual gets all the ADA and everyone else has to walk away with 3 ADA. And then we have something else, which is a special little surprise that you guys haven't seen yet that you can also find in there, and it's a lot rarer. It's almost like a Mewtwo card that you could get in there. You know, it's gonna be really neat. Listen to you acting like you don't know already. You're like, oh wow. I hope that's how they're thinking of it. But
like, ooh, what could it possibly be? I don't know. I'm excited too.
yeah, nice. I like that. So then we have okay, so then we're going down. Yeah, we just spoke about that. You know, as the milestones and the mint reach, you know, the reward pool will grow, and then 20% of the reward pool is 20% of the mint is what's going to get used to the rewards. And like I said, depending on how many discounted users actually make it in time for that window, it can range anywhere from 30 something K to 40 something K that's going into that rewards pool. And I think that's pretty substantial, outside the fact that you're helping us succeed further. You're helping us get all of these next incentives out the way, and you're really helping Conduit Pool and the ability to get rev share turn into something really real and feasible. So let's just quickly go over the rest of this, because we're already at 1 hour and 20 minutes and I can go on forever.
Word.
So we're down here. So post mint, you know, expansion plans right out the gate. As we stated here, where is it? This time around, we're not trying to play games. This time around, we're not only trying to use Raiders Guild, but we're doing classic ad runs too. When it comes to the comic, we're putting a whole legal wrapper around it, its own publishing. It's going to be its own thing, and we're going to be using some of this target to create that. And we're going to have a special account for that. It's specifically just for Web 2 facing products that are collectibles, whether that's board game or that's comic books. That's where it goes. And we're running non-stop ad spend campaigns that make sense, and we're vetted and we tested, and we have an exact target audience, and we have competitors look-alike audiences, and we've done all the market research, a market analysis research that we had to do on all the competitors. The money will get well spent. SEO marketing is one of my bread and butters.
Absolutely. And UGC, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Bro, and we're running this on the norms, right? We're running this on Google. We're running this on Bing. We're running this on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Even Facebook, yeah. Facebook ads, like, it's not, Facebook is not dead at all.
No, not at all.
Not even a little bit. And a lot of the ads and stuff like that run heavy,
especially for nerddom, dude. Like nerd related shit, that goes heavy on Facebook still. It doesn't really do as well on Twitter, but on all these more visual apps like Instagram, TikTok, that shit runs, bro.
Absolutely. 100%.
So
and the thing is they have like, it's very easy to find communities that are niche, so it's like, and then join them, you know, and it's like, so it's like there's a lot of ways to kind of like get in and really put it
yeah,
like,
Facebook groups are legit, bro.
Legit, exactly. They're great for that.
Yep. And then we have you know, right away we're getting right to business. We're getting right to printing the comic. We're not waiting. We're getting right to the test runs. We're showing off the test run right away. We're going straight to pick and pack facilities. I have 2 locations right now. One of them is in New York. That's a local comic shop. And then one of them is in Denver. That's ran by my friend Justin Reyes, who's the son of Nick Nazo. He he doesn't have the same last name only because, you know, his mom and dad, like he took on his mom's last name and then his dad. There's this whole like thing behind them. But anyways, Justin Reyes is Nick Nazo's son. Nick Nazo is a well-known comic illustrator. I have many signed copies of different comics. He's done comics for Star Wars. He's done comics for Marvel. He's done comics for Dark Horse, with RoboCop being one of his biggest ones. I have a signed RoboCop from him. He's been a bit of a consultant on this whole process. He basically got on me on where I went wrong, where we had way too many high hopes, and how that shouldn't happen again. So it's another reason why the raise this time around makes a lot more sense. And it's pretty much non-negotiable. Let's see. Yeah, you know, and this is something you've been bringing up to me a lot more. You know, guerrilla marketing street team wise, you know, getting individuals that will like just walk around, hand out some comics at a show, you know, where we could stay at our booth. We hire a couple of individuals, very, you know, not crazy pay for the day, because all they're doing is just walking out and handing out essentially our flyers. And in this case, it would be free samples of the comic.
Yeah. And even, you know, I would even like to add on to that too, because like, I know I have a very, very close relationship with a street, they do basically like flyering. And like, for me, it's just like, even just like, there's a lot of different kind of like small niche comic book, like little stores all over, like, you know, like Lower East Side and Manhattan, stuff like that. And even just about having like the artwork on a really cool flyer from the print shop, and then have that be like really just all around these comic book shops, like focused there. So like just like in like the 4 block radius, just like, so people that are every day going to the comic book shop are all of a sudden starting to see this comic flyer, which is not something that really happens a lot, actually. So it's going to create, I think, a real kind of just like, what the hell is this going on kind of thing, where it really draws eyes to it, and then be able to, from there, to even then take that whole campaign and then video that and then bring that to social media.
Dude, there's epic days in the comic world that is known as Free Comic Day. Days like that, bro, we go heavy on the marketing on the street level, bro. And also many comic shops, a lot of people don't know this. Many comic shops are, especially brick and mortar indie style ones, you walk in there and you just have a conversation with the owner. You just let them know, hey man, look, I'm willing to drop you off, you know, this amount pretty much for free. Put it on the counter, hand it out to people who buy comics for the day. Let me know what they think. And when you're willing to like really opt in, if you find that you have a fandom for us here, we'll be back with an actual shipment for you, and then we could talk the numbers. So that's also gonna be fun to do.
And again, like once people like, it's just like the hype with comics too is just like, people like to see people doing anything, especially like the comic book community in general. Like, you know, like, because it's like Marvel doesn't do anything cool on the street level really anymore. Like, they're like, you know, they do movies. They might throw up like a mural or something like that, like have some quote unquote graffiti artist do something in like Williamsburg where it's just like a wall they paid for. But like, they're not like really creating any kind of like new cool culture. People just kind of make comic books and then put them on the shelves, and like, you know, whatever they'll like do, like they'll like, you know, do like a little social media run or whatever and hope for the best. But it's like to really like be on the scene there and like have like this kind of like really like focused flyering of not like just like flyers like go buy it. I mean like quite literally just like the cover of the comic book itself, you know, and just like that's it, and it's just like a really cool flyer though, like that's like really high quality or whatever.
Yeah, what print. You know, one thing we go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's just like that kind of like just like I don't know. It's just optics, I guess, but optics in a way that just hasn't really been done for a long time. Where it's like, holy shit, these people are like putting in a lot of work for this comic. What the hell is
Box
this?
Lord had the most genius idea ever that we're going to utilize, which is one of the things we broke down here when it comes to promotional physical materials. Bro thought to himself, because he's ran into these in the past, and he brought it back to my childhood with this. Back in the day, for instance, you get like a Spawn toy and you'll get a mini version of the comic, like as a freebie.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so he's like, hey man, we cut cost on paper, We cut cost on ink, and we just make, like, for instance, issue 2 is around 40 something pages now. It's bigger than the first one. We give them like 5 pages in a mini version of the comic, and they can get those as the freebies.
Right up to like an early climax where it's like a cliffhanger, boom, and then just make it so it's like now they have that collectible, which in and of itself is a collectible and a limited edition. Just having that little like mini, and then they have the desire to want to go and get the actual edition so they can finish the story itself.
Bro, that story kicks ass. It's a simple concept. It's DuckTales meets Skull and Bones. Like, who doesn't want to see that shit?
Exactly, and it's just like kicking it old school. It's like back in the day, even just like when you open a video game and you had that like instruction booklet that was mad thick, you know, like just that, like that alone was just like something that people missed. The idea of having like something like that
analog,
like,
the touch.
Yeah, that's like, it's just dope. It's like, that's why collecting stuff is still cool in Japan. That's why they still have like, you know, like that's why people still buy hard copy games in Japan, because it comes with a bunch of cool stuff. You know what I mean? They build out that physical lore. So it's like, yeah, just thinking about
one of the things, every time I would sell video games on secondary, because I'm an avid collector myself, and I go on eBay, one of the biggest requests I would always get from the buyer, or questions is, hey, does it come with the manual? Hey, does it come with the map? Like, they would always want the physical little goodies in it.
Yeah, exactly. They want 100%. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what, like, that kind of experience. It's going, the people that still read comic books, you know what I mean, or like comic books, even if you're like new to comic books and you like comic books, that's something that's gonna, like, it's like, whoa, you heard about that, but it's not something people have really experienced that much. So it's like just taking it that extra step, you know, and having those ideas where it's like we know what's gonna touch people's heart, like you know, like little nostalgia strings and stuff like that, to really get that core hardcore comic book people that buy comic books for fun and want to just read new comic books, because that's the people that, like, you know, we want to kind of like get into the whole entire thing, like, where it's just like these people are collectors for the comic book sake, and if you do something that creates a memory for them, you know what I'm saying, that touches on something that they like used to experience, that kind of seals the deal for them in a sense.
I mean, really just look at the, like, dude, look at how fire this is. Like, I go to the click one of the actual covers and just zoom in and look how fucking captivating it is. It makes me want, like, Boxlord was so right when he said we need to change the art style, get away from the vintage look, get more into the modernized Mike Mignola, whatever his name is, from Hellboy. So I'm sorry about that. If I can't remember his name correctly, I wasn't the biggest Hellboy fan, but I see what he's talking about. Like this cleaner, more poppy art style that like comes with a gloss finish page, you know?
Yeah, dude. It reminds me of like the late stage Thundercats when it got like sharper and a little darker. You know what I mean? Like, not the early stuff where it was like soft, like, you know, the soft.
Nah, it's when Mumrar got the double-headed scepter already.
Word, and was like, and they were like, and they were like noticeably darker and like just like kind of like real, like, it was like, yo, this got raw. Like, Mumrar's killing people and stuff. It was like, it has that. Like, I love that, dude. Like,
heavy. This is what I'm saying. We want that heavy metal, the movie, the magazine swag to this. Yeah. Like, we want people, because I've never seen it. Like, I've always seen ducks in the cutest or quirkiest or silliest light. Right. I've never seen them like this, where they're kind of devious and they shouldn't be messed with, you know? Like, and I think it's really gonna hit people.
Exactly. Like, everybody's got this shifty eye. It's super intense. It's dark. It's like, it's not like I don't know. It's not your kid's DuckTales. It's gonna be cool, but it still has the DuckTale bills too. So it's like you got like
it's got that nostalgia to it, plus something we can all get behind. Like, we all
take it to like it's almost like how like this like raw like World War like Hulk, when like Hulk went wild and stuff like that, and like just like went from like planet to planet, just like blowing stuff up and being crazy. Like,
oh, that was that universe was cool. Yeah,
that was crazy. But they matured Hulk like out of nowhere, bro. Like, he went from like being like, oh, I'm Hulk, out to be like, I'm like tortured and I'm destroying everything over every planet. It just like got so crazy. Like, I just love, like, this is gonna be something.
And guess what? I've already been surveying, like I've been telling these guys, me and Boxlord, on our own personal Instagrams. Whenever I go to gallery shows, I show it. Whenever people ask me, what do you do? I show it to them. And every freaking time, I swear to you, they look at it and they go, this looks cool. And it, like, again, it hits them with that we're all kind of what's the word? But basically, the taboo, right? Like whenever you hear Freemasons, it always makes you curious. It's this like looming thing around you, right? Like you always want to know. Like it's kind of like UFOs or ghosts. Like people are always interested in that kind of concept, right? Because it's otherworldly. But then it's associated in tandem with something that's so Saturday morning feeling, right? A duck, a funny cartoon character. But in this case, this is very adult, and there is blood. And this is not for like your 7-year-old to be read to for bedtime stories. This one gets very, very, very violent. Let's just put it like this, boys and gals. Not everybody makes it through the initiation, all right?
No, I see the maze down there too. It's like people got like, this is lit. This is dope.
Yeah, this is right here. This is the trial of wisdom. Right here with the Owl of Minerva, which is also, got Freemason and Hermetic Order undertones. It's also in the back of your dollar bill. This is a symbol of all-knowing, all-seeing oracle, Then we have the trial of loyalty right here, where they're blindfolded and they have to entrust in one another. And there's doppelgangers and spirits all around them taking different forms, and through loyalty is how they work their way through it all, and how they're actually able to distinguish and discern what's real and what's not. And then you have the trial of strength, which is essentially the crazy labyrinth that's ridden with traps and extremely dangerous things that pretty much wipes out a large number of the miscellaneous initiates that you want to see as cannon fodder anyway, to make for good usage of red
will not to focus on the real characters and stuff like that.
You get to use all the red ink on the guys you don't care about. All of a sudden the duck head flew there, and
I just like how it's seemingly there's all these different eras that are being represented in the imagery, so it feels as though it's going to go from like the past to the present in a sense, or to a certain from like a, well, not like, maybe it might be present now, but it just feels like there's like this element of like it, like the order, and then as it it's like how it starts, and then like as it like exists in the modern world underneath the surface, you know what I mean? And so it's like I feel like there's just so much here. It's like really rich in the imagery already. Like you see the guy at the top that's got like it's like a, I guess it's a shot, is it a torch? But he has like this very like kind of like punk kind of style, like very like like, and then like the dude in the middle's got like this like he's got like it's like it doesn't quite look like it's
that's
like
the Grandmaster duck in the center there, and then on the right exactly. On his left is the nasty fucking king of the pond. But you see, they're very similar. I've always loved me a villain that has dynamic layering to them. I hate when the villain is like, I am bad for bad's sake. Like, what?
Like, yeah, I just don't like shit. That's what it's like, all right.
Nah, dude. Give me like a Zabuza from fucking Naruto, where you almost weep for that motherfucker when you find out his backstory. Give me an Anakin where you're like, damn, Darth Vader used to be a decent person, and I could see why he turned this way. Like, he was just confused.
Zabuza is like, where it's like, it's like almost like he didn't have a choice but to do this.
Exactly. He's like this orphaned, cute little boy with like a disfigurement, like, like. So yeah, so that's the whole point of why, I feel like this will really work out well. And so all right, let's move on. We're now gonna just go over some of the reasons why we're raising funds. We added a little bit of padding to these for, the unknown variables that always come with logistics and trying anything. No, I've never had an ideation lead to a concept to an execution that worked perfect A through Z without any issue in between. That just doesn't happen. So that's why
there's always going to be hidden costs and all the kinds of things.
Exactly. Or an issue or some fuckery.
Exactly.
So, all right, comic production. and expansion. All right, so we're trying to get the rest of the issues for issue number 1 printed out, and we want all of the issues for issue number 2, enough that we deal with the 3,000 supply for Web 3, and then we're able to deal with thousands of more issues to be sold across our independent website, which is running ads, and then our Amazon page, and then also those are the two. So and then local
IRL vendors, of course, like and then shops. Yes,
local, yep. And all right, so we have board game development. Now this one has a little bit of some nuance and caveats to it. So we really wanted to. All right, so if anybody's wondering, well, why a board game? If you go and look at the market for board games, they're back. Not only are the retro ones selling like hotcakes, if any of you know of any tooling that's good for Amazon, I'll give you one. Amazon Scout. You can go pay for it. It'll show you all of the sales actually happening on any given account. It'll show you sales on any product. It'll show you trends and full on just price action on what's happening, right? With
analytics,
the analytics. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's literally 4:30 a.m. I have barely slept.
I'm with you, bro. We're on the same coast. I'm with you. I feel you, bro. That's why I'm here.
But now I'm stubborn. If I say something's gonna get done, I promise you. Now, nah, bro. I'm just doing it. I don't give a fuck if I got to stick around longer. No one's ever gonna say, "Hey, Demos didn't keep his word this time." So, when it comes to board games, they're selling like hotcakes. Now, the indie world for board games, I learned all about that world by being involved with my friends playing D&D, playing specific indie instances that were created on Kickstarter campaigns during COVID. Almost every Kickstarter campaign for any independent board game that actually looks like it makes sense and is feasible with good presentation and a team that can actually deliver based on what they've already showcased on Kickstarter, they're all successful, and they're always they over exceed the expectations of the original target raise. So
absolutely.
I went back in the day. I've gone to a couple. Many might not know this, but the Microsoft building in New York City, they host a bunch of different like workshops and conventions for independent like gaming, and it could be physical games, virtual games, etc. And I swear to you, every individual that I met there that said I used my last Honda Civic sales money, or I used my life savings of like $18,000 to create this game, I then checked up on them years later. All the board games or card games actually made it to get massive sales, Kickstarter, full on, 100% progress on raise funds, etc. One of them being called Bad Medicine. Dude, I met this guy when he only put his last $8,000 into this game. I played it, and it was basically Cards Against Humanity, but you're pitching to a big pharma firm as a salesman, and it's a ridiculous fun fucking concept, bro. We were at his table for hours. Turns out
that's hilarious.
Few years later, the guy's selling like freaking crazy. Hold on, somebody said if one has okay, so Tessol has a question. If one has significant amount of assets, should they try to group them things in a specific stake TXs? Like, does it matter if you stake all your letters in one, relics in another, a few only in one, or all in different combinations? Asking for a friend. No, Tessol. Technically, it shouldn't matter. Now, I've already written this up because somebody else asked me earlier. I'm going to double check with the Ada Anvilton, but we spoke about it a couple of times in the past, like months ago. So I want to just refresh my memory with them. But in this case, when it comes to conduit, No, it will not matter, because all we're pulling is just all the stake address information about what assets you're even holding on to. And from there, that information gets pulled to that dashboard. It has nothing to do with how ADA Anvil works. And then the different little, we'll call them baskets, where you get to put your assets into staking. That all still earns you the right amount of rune. So in theory, it should not matter. But I am going to bring that up to the team in the morning. So let me write this down.
So essentially,
actually, I don't need to write it down. I'll just copy and paste what he said. Go ahead.
So essentially, each asset essentially is connected to a different type of reward.
No.
Okay.
I'm saying it a bit confusing. He says, yes, Conduit, but what about rune rewards for Anvil stake? And that's why I said to Soul, in theory, where I had assumed that it shouldn't matter. You should still be able to earn everything as you're supposed to. But I'm if I remember correctly, you're limited to how many assets can go into quote unquote each basket or each square or whatever. But I did just paste this information, and I will be forwarding it to the ADA Anvil team. And I'll get right back to you tomorrow morning at some time when they get back to me, buddy. And also, I have a call with them on Thursday as well. So trust me, this will get to them, and I'll get you those answers. All right, going back to this. So yeah, we basically broke that whole thing down of the comic. And now we're just going to talk a little bit more again. So we broke down the board game. Oh, right. Here is the caveat. Right now, Shenzhen, China was one of our favorite places to try to go to for mass production for obvious reasons, right, guys?
Yes.
AKA the Birkin bag makers. And the tariffs done hit them boys hard, guys.
Yeah, it's insane.
Luckily, we have found two alternatives. This is why the padding is a lot higher than we initially were going to do. For this, and any excess amount of padding that does, once we get any of these productions done, will just get moved over to somewhere else that it could be needed instead. Like whether that be the real world entertainment arm, or operational costs, or more LP injection. We're not gonna pocket it, and it's gonna be out in the open. You're gonna know what we're spending on. We're gonna show you these invoices from these warehouses, etc., and we're gonna let you know when the money's being moved and allocated to another venture instead, and explain why.
Exactly. There'll be receipts for everything, no matter what the case is.
Exactly. And our alternatives right now are looking like Vietnam or Europe. Domestic is way too expensive. It's ridiculous. And they're also just getting it for Vietnam and Europe. So no thanks.
Right, exactly. You're just paying for them in the middle.
Yeah, you're just paying some fucking glorified middleman that lives right next door to you. Like, no thanks.
So we'll do your drop shipping. Just give us.
yeah, exactly. Like, what? It's like, wait a minute. I could have gone on that fucking website and talked to all those, service providers. What the hell? So yeah. Marketing, right? Marketing needs to be marketing outside the bubble when it comes to these Web 2 products. Trying to market comics on Twitter to Web 3 people 24/7 and claim that you'll bring back rev share is a fucking pipe dream. And marketing does need a bit of cash. So right here, paid ad campaigns. How would you be doing that, Demos? Well, like I said before, we will be running, general Google SERPs, aka search engine rank pages, like trying to get it on the search queries page, ads, running some ads on particular blogs and news blogs that are known to have avid comic book readers, running some ads on Reddit, but specifically like the bigger names like Bing, Google, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I think that's where we're going to see the best conversion.
Yeah, I think also there's a huge comic book community on Kick as well too. So just even
put me onto that, definitely.
Yeah,
put that in the team chat.
Yeah, for sure. And then like even I'm noticing a lot of like people that are like doing like like the anime ego stuff or whatever. They are also just making comic books because comic books they're not. It's not like a it's just the same thing with anime. Like it was something that was super niche, but now it's just like who doesn't know Marvel? Who doesn't like there are people that are like literally delving back into old comic books just because they were introduced to Marvel, Avengers when they were 10 years old, the movie. And so like there's
that's why the market is such on an uptrend, bro. Because right now, people, just like you said, they'll watch the Captain America movie or they'll watch the whatever movie, right? And then they'll go back home and wonder, what does happen later on in that story that I can't witness? Let me go order it on Amazon.
Exactly. And what's really funny about that too is how tight Marvel was with like their copyright. You really can't find comic books on the internet like that, like not like in a cohesive way. So you really actually have to go get them. You have to like become a part of that whole thing. Like there's just so many communities out there that are easy to get to, like, whether it's on forums and everything like that. Like it's very much just like easy to even also create a scene on those places too, where it's not just about like infiltrating to market to them, but also building the communities there and building and developing a fan base there by actually like earnestly interacting with them too.
Yeah, definitely. And we're talking full on streams too, chatting to the community about the process, right? Why we love the characters, telling you like secrets about their backstories, really getting them involved, and not mentioning crypto while we're doing it. And that's the trick. Right, yeah. You don't want to bash them up, because once you start saying the gimmick, oh, there's crypto, it's like, bro, it kills why this cover fucking rocks. You see, the beauty about comics, like when you went to the store, Joyless, and you didn't know of a comic, what got you to buy it? What was it? The
cover, bro. Everything. Exactly. The cover, like the artwork, like exactly like whatever it was. It could just be like, whoa, that like this is a whole new level of like realism or whatever, or like how they like the outfits, everything like that. Like that's what it needs to be for the comic's sake. It cannot be for some kind of value proposition outside of the story itself, because that's not why people buy comic books. Like it's inherently transactional. You don't got
to our investors more. We can share that side of the story, but not to the Web2 community for sure.
Yes.
Like, here, buy this comic. You might earn back 2x from rev. It's like, what, bro?
Like, what the hell does that mean? Like, so wait, does this comic suck? Like, am I supposed to just let this thing like sit and like collect dust? Or am I supposed to like read this and enjoy it and go get number 2 and number 3, and then essentially like the action figures or the merch or like the like limited edition run action figures and shit? Like that's what the whole thing's about, and it's like that's what it needs to be. Like it can't just be like another way to onboard people to the ecosystem. That's gross. That's like,
bro. One of my favorite things about comics, you hit the nail on the head. When you go into a new room, aka like a new community, you only just have to show it to them. It speaks for itself. When they see the logo, they see the art, they'll opt in based on that. If there's any meat and potatoes in the story, they're stuck. That's where the retention comes from.
That's where it is. Exactly. 100%. So it's like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, it's pure, it's pure. The people that are interested in that, like very low percentage of them are like, yeah, I'm collecting comics because I want to flip them. That's like,
yeah. That is a small percentage. I am one of those though. I will buy 3 copies of it so I can flip the other 2 and keep the one though. I am one of those. I promise.
But, I wish I could be one of those. I'm not good enough at keeping them like I don't keep comics well, bro. Like
at least you read them. That's good.
Yeah, I read the bitches. Oh man,
you're a big dude, bro. You're like 6'4" plus, bro. Of course you're gonna accidentally rip the pages when you touch them too long, bro.
All right, I'm 6'4". I'm not like I don't know.
I mean, for your average height person, bro, you're a giant.
Give me comic now.
Talk to the guy who's 5'6". You're a giant, bro. But all right, so. Yes, then we want fund. We're going to use some of this funding here to obviously hit the scene. All right, hit the scene at New York Comic Con, hit the scene at San Diego, hit the scene at localized events, and then also hit the scene at Rare Evo. Because at Rare Evo, we get to do a twofer. We get to talk about Mallard Order as the Web3 brand, but then we also get to talk to our fellow nerds who also love comics and are in Web3, who didn't buy the comic digitally and might pick up the physical copy. Also, just for the presence of the order. We always gotta we gotta show love. We always gotta show up there. So we'll be there. And then, you know, promo materials like we talked about. These will generate ourselves, you know. We'll get our own shirts made. We'll get you know, our own mini comics printed out using our printer that we give away as samples, etc. Like, so this is why this is a minimal fee. And again, you know, any padding that isn't used from somewhere else, we can always put towards another venture that makes a little more sense. If we do notice that all the marketing materials ran out quicker than we could have thought, that's a great issue to have. We'll go ahead and remove some padding from something else that doesn't need it any longer, and we'll put it towards that instead. All right, let's move on faster. Right out the gate, we're planning to strategically put around 40K, or not around, but 40K. If there is anything more, or like I said, any padding from anything else that's not used, it will always go pretty much the most viable option is just, hey, give it back to the holders through injections.
100%.
You know, we got the whole buyback program idea, LP injections, farming incentives. When the conduit Medium article goes out, this will have a lot more numbers, and these guys are super geeks. They're gonna want to see the exact metrics, the exact numbers, the exact everything. So we're gonna give them that there, because I almost gotta go to sleep soon. And then we're talking just overhead for our project to continue living. Any dev or any person here knows, bro, APIs in multitudes, that shit costs money. My dev needs Adobe Photoshop and Maya and Figma. All of that shit is everything turned into a subscription model now, bro.
Yep, everything. They just want it all the time, every month.
And then we wanna, you know, pay for premium accounts, because obviously everything now needs a blue check or a yellow check or a this and that just to get visibility. And then the general stuff like Nitro, and again, any other little things like, did you know that we have to pay an annual cost for a link tree or a QR code, etc. Although we won't be paying for Linktree because we could just build our own. So yeah, wherever we can cut costs now with AI tooling to quickly like build something, we're definitely going to do that. Linktree being one of them.
Yeah, and that's something Sub-Zero is. He prides himself on creating his own solution. So like that's something we'll definitely be absolutely doing. And then again, taking whatever we can to save that to give right back to the community, whether it's Boon buybacks or raids or anything that, you know.
Yeah, sweeping those sexy mallards off the floor too, because I refuse to ever see them go to a certain extent ever again. We got you know, in the same operations, we're also going to be, you know, injecting a nice amount of money into our print shop to really get the B2C right out the gate, being able to service pretty much everyone possible with great profit margins. If we're able to sell out everything created from the resources bought up from the $14,000. So, I mean,
and that's a per order thing too. We can absolutely like be very clear and tight with that budget, because it's like people are ordering things and then we can kind of from there. So it's like it wouldn't be a thing where
our industrial printers, bro, they actually give us the exact count of how much ink, what milliliters are left, how much output it can do with the given roll. So this is why I love these things. You can actually do all of the math and know exactly the profit margins if you sell X amount of those products. Like it's fucking great. And again, we're dealing with paper. Okay? We're not trying to get fancy. We don't want minors. We don't want exotic goods. We're literally, our goods are paper and plastic and cardboard. I think these are great things to buy into because they have high profit margins and like you said, low cost. All right, so we're getting to your segment now. Sir, go ahead, tell them a little bit about this segment.
So I mean, like, this is something, I mean, you said it's my segment, but Nemesis is like, you know,
she's not here right now. This is mutually both of yours, but this is for right now. This is a segment you're on, so go ahead, tell them.
Yeah, no, 100%. And this is kind of be like, this is where basically we start really just kind of integrating the Web2 nightlife scene and just the culture aspect of why, you know, brands and things become popular. It's like, yes, cool, the technology is great, but you know, unless there's two things that need to happen. One, it needs to be fun, or at least associated with fun. And then two, it needs to, you know, be extremely useful for people in an easy way. So we kind of, you know, have set like a pretty cool, like motion with like the guild and the conduit as far as utilizing the technology and having that be useful in an easy way, you know, as an automated way. But now it's about kind of just really being out there in the scene where people are actually like congregating, having a good time, and not like, you know, like we saw what the early kind of iteration of like Web3 events were like, where it's just like, you know, bad curation, no music, and people just sitting there talking about their NFTs on
and
the wall.
Crazy
like,
spend, bro. It'll be like they'll just rent out the whole Javits Center for like 500 fucking idiots to show up.
And like wild spend with no outreach to the, you know, no using any kind of local promotion and local promoters that are able to move and build out a crowd. No knowledge of like, you know, who is doing what in the city or the place that they're doing by scouting. And then finding out like what's cool and how we can get those people to kind of like, you know, interact with us and stuff like that. And I think that is kind of the missing link into why this is still so niche in one way, but also like gate kept by like a very random like group of people. Like, you know, we'll randomly have some kind of like, you know, celebrity come in to grift for like, you know, a couple months, like,
hey, it's Ghostface Killer, House of
Lana, exactly. You know, where it's like, so it's like it gets touched, but it's like it's in just the wrong way completely. And so what we need is something that where it's like we utilize the resources that we have to maximize the way we can kind of like get and basically integrate into this pop culture nightlife, you know, and be like and create opportunities to grow not only just, you know, the project, but also value to the chain itself, and then bring on and grow our network of other projects that via sponsorship and via and partnerships and co-marketing and stuff like that to really build out the ecosystem and grow and get more people in from the outside. You know?
Let me chime in real quick. I'll just give them a slight breakdown just for all those that don't know. We've thrown around like 6 IRL events already. Nemesis is going to be taking care of the gallery, more artsy scene and activations there. She's got all these really neat ideas. Right now, she's setting up a whole show in Brooklyn where there's going to be artists from her whole scene. She's been doing art for 20 plus years. If you Google Zera NYC, you'll see her all over the place. Female Brooklyn artist, well known by graffiti writers. I'm talking legendary ones, not the bums that like just write on walls. I'm talking about graffiti writers who get shown at museums and are in Style Wars like Gano and Cope and like, you know, just giant names. They're actually fans of her. They got her name in their black book, and I'm not bullshitting. It's actually crazy. And so she's got that whole thing by the neck, you know, like in a grip. And with this next June event, she's already trying to get Cardano projects involved. So her thing is to get Web3 projects involved and then Web2 artists all together in one location and showcase it all under the placebo of art. But truly, when the conversation starts of what is this, you can then go down that rabbit hole of, oh, did you know this is actually on-chain technology that you're witnessing here versus this is just a painted artwork. Even though they might look similar, one isn't the same. And she's already gotten sponsors, like I said before, breweries, blah, blah, blah. So we just need to give her a bit more backing so she can get more locations. Like right now, she's got this whole cannabis industry connection, and she's trying to do infused dinners at these. So she's got, like, for instance, guys, I'll give you an example. She's got this location right now that it's a beautiful indie lounge, right? Private lounge, curated, beautiful. And one of her super duper like high-end rich art mentors has this amazing loft in Soho, and he's willing to like rent it out for her for like a few $100s an hour. And she's going to be hosting dinners there where, you know, people pay for the 3-course meal ahead of time through tickets. And all of these meals are, you know, there's a disclaimer and it's stated, and they're all fused, you know, cannabis fused meals. And she has this whole scene of people that are already opted into it. And we're talking anywhere from spending around $1,200 and making around $2,000 in profit periodically, like on a weekly basis, if we give her the backing to be able to just do it over and over again. And the, you know, profits made from there, you know, obviously a small percentage will go to the individual who was there all day curating and networking and basically losing sleep hours, making sure everyone had a great time. Obviously it should be compensated for that, but the majority of the profits will then go back into the rest of the revenue share that we just spoke about. And in your end, I want you to tell them a little bit about your history, your music history, and kind of how you're involved with the whole like New York nightlife scene. And it's essentially how I originally met you, where you were at, you know, either a hand at throwing every cool party I've ever witnessed in the city, or you were there playing music. So tell them a little bit.
Yeah, no, dude, it's pretty crazy, dude. Like by the time I was like, I don't know, I think I was in Brooklyn for maybe like a year before I was playing in like 9 different bands and promoting all these different like house parties, you know. And it's just the kind of thing where it's like, that's what Brooklyn's like kind of known for. It's like we kind of set up this like really cool collective of people that not only like have like, you know, access as far as just like venues go, but they also just know all of like the DJs that are going to be popping through there and how to like, and we've just like made this kind of really cool promotional like underground network. And one of my best friends just he runs this whole entire party promotion experience called Renegade, and we threw parties like underneath railroads at first, and then we ended up in New York Times for throwing a party underneath a bridge during COVID, actually. And it was quick. It was completely safe.
Actually. I saw that. Yeah.
And it was awesome. And that's kind of like where, from there, it was like, okay, now we had that visibility, and we just never stopped. You know, we really kind of just took it to just like more heights, and then we started doing kind of these fight night kind of parties where it's like we have like so MMA and DJs, and then like so it's like 10 fights, and then after that it's just like a dance party, you know, and everybody's like doing music. And so it's like, and we get these really cool like spaces, and they're all, you know, they're all sanctioned fights. It's you know, we have like the EMTs there and everything like that. But essentially what it is just like at the sponsorship level there is really where, you know, we're kind of like being able to pull more networking, more profits, and it's one of those, it snowballs, it builds upon itself, because everyone wants to be associated with the party scene. And when you start becoming just a consistent curator of parties, because you know the good DJs and you know where to get, you know where the venues, and you have access to people that can get you in those cool venues and get you in those venues for a good price, you can really make a extremely good amount of money. And then from there, like, it's just, again, you begin the networking expansion, where it starts out just as like, you know, like one city, you know, consistently once a month, but then like now it's just like you're doing it maybe like twice a month, and then you're also going from city to city every 2-3 months, you know, and you're doing all these big things. And that's like kind of what we want to start building out as the culture leg, because then it's just, we want to be able to be like, okay, cool. Like we're now like integrated into just like, it's like people that are just normies or whatever like that. They're just constantly now being kind of like, just like introduced to the crypto ecosystem in a way that is so nonchalant, and just like, it's like incentivizing it with drinks, incentivizing it with the vendors and what they're bringing to, you know, from the sponsorship table. And then all of the ad space that's available. Like when we throw parties, there's Red Bull ads everywhere. There's like, you know, there's new death drinks and all these other cool things, and energy drinks and stuff like that. And they have a representation there. They're always looking for
for people that are throwing consistent
Yes,
parties.
always. Yeah. They have
Always.
a whole side of their inventory that's specifically to give away so that they can get their name brand on the biggest spots.
And for us, it's like we don't have to look for that. We can start off with that because I already have the infrastructure and the
same thing with Nemesis. This is why we're asking for a very reasonable amount. We don't need $1 bajillion to set this all up, because you guys basically already have great deals, or you can, get locations essentially even nearly free at times and be able to like build from that, and again, like you said, bro, it's usually, if you do it right, parties, events, they make you money, man. Especially if you.
It's the kind of thing everybody wants to be a part of, and it's just like once you make that face in there, you're just like, and then you just become like, it just creates a much more cultural palatable scene than it would be if it's just like, hey, come to this NFT thing, you know what I mean? It's just like, and that's why even with Zero is doing, we would want to even merge these two things too, where it's like, you come for the culture aspect, whether it's art, whether it's like, somebody like doing any kind of like this spoken word, it could be anything. But then after that, now there's this whole DJs come in, and now we got like the whole like the lights coming in, and we're curating an experience, and then it can even, and then it's like Mallard order. There's insignias, there's ways to introduce the whole
nice and
entire
subliminal, nice and
exactly
chill,
subliminally, exactly, by the imagery that we put up, and by the atmosphere that we create, which is like this whole like kind of like,
and then the things we discussed, like activations, like all of a sudden, hey, you can pay at the bar, or you have this free beer section here, but there's a little gimmick. You got to scan, you got to click a couple of buttons at this kiosk, or hey, look, there's the photo booth over here. It's a DIY built, and it's actually powered by a Raspberry Pi that's actually powered and synced to the Cardano node right now, and it's actually going to make an on-chain transaction using Endmaker's API and print out, not only give you your print in IRL of your photo, but then go ahead and mint an NFT. So we can use it as promo and show people like, look, real TXs are being made, real stories are being made. And we'll even present that to the person like, hey, did you know that this is actually a digital asset too? You want me to send it to you right now? Make a wallet. Oh, wait, you already did when you used the photo booth. So, yeah, stuff like that.
Exactly. The whole thing is just about activation and making it completely just like it's a covert experience. It doesn't have to be something where you need to be onboarded to the whole entire. No, it's like, oh, it's like, hey, you want to get a free drink? Here you go. Check this out. Go do this real quick at this terminal. And just like it doesn't have to be like in your face or the reason why you're there. It's just something that's there and that's always there and that's consistent. That always has representation.
You're always going to have the curious George who's going to ask, hey, so what did I just do? What is this? Tell me more. You're always going to get that.
Because at the end of the day, dude, like when you go to parties, like it's crazy. Like there's people that are there that are having fun, but a lot of people are just awkward and walking around and stuff like that. And they would love to have anything to just focus on besides the fact that they don't know anybody at this party.
That they're there alone. That's been me a bunch of times. I would love to just have a knickknack or something to fidget with at a party that I don't know anyone in.
Exactly, dude. And then like once it's like, and then once again, like once there's value being represented, it's like, oh cool, I can go get a free drink just for doing this. A ticket pops out or whatever, or they come and they show their little like, it's something on the app where it just shows that they did it, so now they have a ticket for a drink. Or they get a ticket for, and then that leads them to a website, whatever. Or most importantly, though, it, again, just nonchalantly introduces them to the chain, gives the chain exposure, and does it in a consistent way that's always connected with fun, a good time. And there's never like this idea of like you're being a nerd or you're doing anything of that nature. And we just develop upon that over and over again. And then as we throw more parties, curate better and better experiences, that way it's just like it becomes a household name now, because that's the whole thing is it's like we need to have exposure on multiple angles all the time, or else you just get kind of like drowned out because we're not like, we're not billionaires that can just like run a social media campaign for like 6 months straight where you just like every time you go and turn it on, all you see is that, it's like, no. So we have to be very, very creative in how we impact people.
That's how Fire Festival went bankrupt. They went too hard on the marketing.
Yep, exactly. They went too hard in the marketing, and they didn't have, and which is crazy because it's so funny. Usually, the sentiment is you can't go too hard in the marketing. Only problem for them was though they didn't build anything
Yeah, exactly. And then they realized, they were like, wait a minute, yo, catering's gonna cost hella money. Wait, what, the tents? Oh shit.
Bro, like literally, like they was wilding out. They was spending money on the marketing, like that was the movie.
Millions,
like, that was the party.
yeah.
The marketing was the party, and then the party was just like an afterthought. It was hilarious. Like, so no, like for us, it's like we built the tech, we built the community, we have like the connections, we building out this ecosystem. Now it's about infusing it with blood so it can run and then perpetuate itself.
Exactly. And we've shown a track record already, especially with these IRL events. We're one of the only projects that has done them at this scale, at these scales. And you give us actual backing specifically just for this. We make a whole legal branch, just a legal arm just for this endeavor. Let Nem and Joyless really run it up together. And dude, you know what? All right. One thing I want to get, and then we can move on. But bro, you know one really cool thing that always happens in New York City with these events? Bro, all these journalists that have writer's block, you always see them pull up to the poetry a show. You always see them come to the indie warehouse party because they always need those feel-good stories for, Gawker and fucking High Snobiety. How do you say that? High what?
Yeah, High Snobiety.
High Snobiety. Like Time Out New York, bro. When I used to live in those Brooklyn lofts, bro, next door this guy would throw these stand-up shows, and they freaking blew up to the point you would have the Time Out New York guys there every freaking weekend, right?
Yeah, that was right next door. Yeah, I remember that. That was amazing, to the point where it got so big they had to move it out of there and they had to take it over.
And it turned into a real thing. They had
to take it to Ballroom Hotel. Yeah, it was like it became a real thing. Like it was pretty cool.
And yeah, so great exposure. That's it.
No, exactly. It's just like being consistent, the great exposure, and again, like and also being creative too. It's not just about just about a specific kind of party. It's about creating experiences and knowing how to do that. Whether it's even doing or putting on what people think is like an impromptu experience at the park and getting some cool DJs to go down there and just make music during the summertime over at Strawberry Field in Central Park.
Dude, that's amazing. Yeah, exactly. You don't need to spend big. You just, like you said, you just need to curate an experience that is unforgettable. Because some of my favorite times in New York were stuff like that. I didn't pay, but someone created this amazing, otherworldly experience where, all of a sudden you turned all of West 4th into a pillow fight. What the heck? This is awesome.
And no one's gonna care if it's having a banner for a Mallard order. The cooler you are, the less people care about the fact.
Dude, in Arsenio slaps, bro. I've had
exactly, but that it's a branded experience. In fact, they're like, holy shit, this brand is so cool. They're doing something that's so on the pulse of the street, or culture. Where it's we're out here in the streets having a good time. They threw on an impromptu party, and the music is fire. Yep. And they have whatever, they'll have some sponsored drinks or whatever that they just they called up.
Bro, when we scale, Nemesis has been telling me this. When we scale, bro, we get to the point of, hey, let's find a happening location, art centric, some Williamsburg, Bushwick kind of thing, where people actually have money but are also involved in the art scene. Throw a whole block party.
Block party. Exactly. Just get a permit and do it real quick out of nowhere. And literally, what you'll notice too with the sponsor
stuff,
he has
the connections for that too. Go ahead, sorry.
But you end up stockpiling sponsorship giveaway stuff that they give you from these companies.
Yes,
literally, dude, it's crazy. It's the person I work with, his name is Sam Black. That's what it literally is.
Very famous guy. Yes,
very famous guy, and you can look him up. He's a real person. And literally, dude, we have so much of the liquid death water and all these different energy drinks that
you could keep reusing for other shows too, bro.
Exactly, dude. It was filling up our studio to the point where we was but we gotta do something with this. So we just go to the park, throw on the speaker, have them all out there, and just be okay, cool, whatever, because it's Saturday.
I bet everyone came. I would have done it. Free liquid death, bro, and music.
People that are already at the park that are they're like, wait, this you're giving out free this, free that, you know? It's just like they don't care. And now you just, and what do we do? We talked about the next Renegade party that we were going to have.
Exactly.
And we're making friends and we're having just a good time. And people are interested in what you do. How are you able to do this? Whatever. Like, where are you getting this from? Like, it's like you create conversation and people check you out. You never know who you're going to meet. And we just need to have that presence all the time where it's just like, we're a cultural name. Like, it's like Mallard Order. You check that out. Like, oh, they're always doing this, but then they got all of this lore, this presence here, these comics here, and it becomes like, it's like, whoa, like, you know, and it doesn't need to be an agenda about it. It's just, we like to do cool shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's the point. That's exactly it. That's exactly what the norm it should be. It's just, yo, those ducks are just dope. That's it.
Dope.
Right? And
that's it. That's really what it is, bro. This all boils down
this,
to.
I'm
like,
telling,
it's like,
I've always trying to tell people this. Like, you could tell how many people are out of touch and never even talk to a girl and stuff. They'll just be like, no, like, this is how you really do an event. And it's like, bro, I know for sure you haven't left the house in like 2 years. Like, you don't even know how to communicate with people. I've met you in person. Like, you're the last guy we should be talking to about IRL anything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not something that's like, you know, like, haha, we're saying that. But like, there's historical evidence that that's the case. We've seen what these parties look like. It's nothing we have to like, it's not a stretch of the imagination to see how bad this can get. Like, so like, it's just like, literally, like, it's like, you know, you put it in the hands of people that have been throwing parties. I've been playing in bands since I was 15 years old. I moved to Brooklyn. I was playing 9 bands at a time. Literally,
I remember,
like,
bro, and your abilities were crazy. I would look at you and I'm like, is this guy a doppelganger? You play in the drums? Now you're on guitar?
Drums for my set, and then have like a random band be like, yo, our drummer's too drunk. Can you play drums for us? And then they try to get me to be their drummer. Like, it's like, it was
I almost had it up to here with you when after I saw you playing the bass, then the guitar, then the drum. I saw you on the keyboard. I was like, this motherfucker's playing everything.
And you better believe each band I was in hated me more and more for how many bands. It was so crazy, bro. But like, yeah. But at the end of the day, though, you kind of understand that at the end, like, people just want to have a dope experience. And if you can make that experience fun and comfortable and present, like, I remember the first party I went to in Brooklyn that really like made it so I was like, okay, this is kind of like, this is what I want to do, because I've never had anything like this happen to me. I went to this party. It was cool. It was like a little underground loft party. But at like 5 o'clock in the morning, they brought out like pancakes and scrambled eggs and fruits. Bro, it was on platters, bro. It was so wild. And we were like, dude, we were like so done at that point too. We were like just all tired and exhausted, and we were just like ready to go home. We were like, all right, we're about to call it. And literally, as we're thinking to ourselves to leave, they just brought out like straight up breakfast. And I was like, and not no cheap breakfast either. Like, it was like legit insane, like bacon, eggs, orange juice, like large amounts of fresh squeezed orange juice, like that kind of thing, dude. Like, it was like, it changed the game for me. It literally was like, okay, so everything I was going through before this was just garbage, and this is how you like just make an experience that's so like legit that it will never.
It's memorable. Like, look at that. Look how long ago that was for you, and you still remember it like it was yesterday.
Standard for me, bro, like literally. And I was like, okay, so that's what this is like about, like, you know. And you can tell a difference when people are just money grabbing for a party or when they're trying to curate an experience. And because they did that, the amount of like money that Renegade makes regularly is ridiculous. They curate the Met Gala after parties. They do all this other cool stuff. And so, like,
no, I know, dude. I saw Sam Black blowing up when I was younger, like in my early 20s, just with his crazy warehouse parties, to the point where then he bought a warehouse.
Exactly.
He was scaling crazy. He went from like throwing parties at his own place to then owning a warehouse to then literally being hired to throw parties for like big ass organizations. Like,
exactly, dude. And then he's the one that also runs the street team thing, where he like literally has people like literally going around flyering everything, putting up projectors over on the bridges and stuff like that, dude. So we can have cool Batman style projection on the bridge for like, you know, like for even for like a Mallard Order comic book drop. Like, we could literally have that done. Like, it's cool stuff, like, where it's like. And that's what we kind of need to do. Like, we need to have that cool kind of like consistent, like, just like, what is it called? Like, I don't know why I'm drawing up.
I mean, it's 5 a.m. right now, bro. Of course,
yeah, we're drawing up blanks. But like spectacle, that's what it is. Okay, we need to have like cool spectacle that just consistently puts us.
It just brings you over, man. Like, when you're walking around the city, you got nothing to do, you see something wild, you just walk over. If it's not dangerous or bad, it's like, oh, what's going on here? That's it.
Exactly. And then we have the flyers there, like where we're doing the projections. People come up, they see it, they see everything. It's just like it creates another touching point where we're just constantly touching people, leaving QR codes, leaving websites, coming to check out the comic books, all these other little things that start to slowly build out a fan base that's bigger than Web3, and that will be consistently engaging in the products that we're putting out. Yeah, and that's what we want, because we want to take that and bring it back to Web3.
Like we talked about, we can go to our friendly neighborhood Web3 projects, and we won't allow them to be like horrible shills and bad salesmen and be like, oh, no, tell them to buy our mint. It's like, no. What we will do is allow you to put your logo on our goodie bag or our cups that we're handing out, and they can go figure out for themselves who you are.
Exactly. Allow you to have real estate, on even on our websites, at our parties, at the bar, at places, and even like whatever. If you want to set up a kiosk,
if you want to chip in and help us and sponsor us on something, we'll put you on the flyer too. Like if you're the guy or girl who sent us the beers, cool. Logos on the flyer.
Or if you have an experience you want to do, we can even create them. Exactly. So it's just another way, again, to be a very cohesive, multi-dimensional media project, media company, really. And bring this thing, the Mallard Order, into a real, company that really, really is out there trying to build something that's going to be lasting and sustainable. On multiple fronts.
Bro, it really helps that our branding just looks fire. Like I've had motorcycle jacket, fucking Hell's Angels, that they have that clubhouse down in the Lower East Side. I was walking through with a full-on Mallard suit, basically. Like I had a denim jacket that has my Mallard patch of the insignia on it, with the hoodie on, with the hat on, and I walk by and they're like, yo, what the hell is that? I got the fucking motorcycle gang asking me about it, bro. I was like, hell yeah, dude, I know this shit is fucking dope. When even the subculture is like, hey, well, what's that duck all about right there, dude? That shit looks cool.
And that's the whole point too, because that's where a lot of the subculture is. And it's where it's we could even be working with independent people making different merch and different apparel and stuff like that. And all that comes into this whole culture play and creating a real scene around what we're doing, and not just kind of just being a product or a Web3 thing. It's just no, this is the brand, and this is the value that we're bringing and what we're doing.
Dude, MFers want to talk about onboarding, talking to new people, but never want to leave the screen. How's that gonna ever work?
That's it's not gonna work. All
right, let's move it on.
Crazy. But yeah, let's move along. But yeah,
because it's about to be 6, and I do need to get some sleep. My day tomorrow is long, aka later today. Yo, shout out to Nemesis. She's going to be setting up a June event. She's already reaching out to partner projects in Web3. Keep your eyes and ears open for that. You do want to be at our show this upcoming June. If you're a Web3 project and you're not at the Mallard Gallery show this year, where a bunch of cool Web2 artists are going to be, where all the cool scene kids that Nemesis knows and all the ritzy, artsy folks that she knows are going to be at, you're kind of missing out on getting to a new demographic to know who the hell you are. So do keep an ear and an eye, and your eyes open for that. And we'll be reaching out. She'll be reaching out. And that's that. And like I said, she's just a fucking beast at curating. She makes such beautiful experiences. And then we got Joyless over here, Ian, who's basically connected with all the nightlife gods out here in New York City and the promoters. And we're talking a great combination between two scenes that make up a lot of the culture of New York's experiences. So
it's not even just nightlife too, 100%. It's also the local artists and local musicians and stuff like that too. So it's just building
well, that's why we have venues here, DJs, and it's not, but I'm also bringing up the nightlife because that shit is lit. All right. So like we just talked about, guys, our mission, it's basically a placebo effect of adding blockchain education through a great fun experience where the user doesn't even know they're being educated. You know, use music, art, entertainment to break through the pop culture on a Web 2 level, as Joyless was just explaining and I was explaining. Onboard new users via fun experiences and route them back to Cardano blockchain through the placebo effect of education through activations. All right. And as we talked about, we've already secured all these connections because we're kind of popular and kind of cool. No, we are. Like it's. I remember I was hanging out with Lua, bro. We went from the Lower East Side to then go to Brooklyn. Tell me how the minute I'm walking around Brooklyn, a car pulls up to the side of me, and it's a friend of mine, Mike from Staten Island, who plays in this fucking crazy old school rock band. Like they sound old school. Nice. And he's a firefighter, right? He's like this badass dude. He's fucking waving at me like, yo, Francisco. And Lua was like, damn, Demos. They know you like that out here? You got traffic stuff? That shit was hilarious.
Dragging you down the streets.
Yeah. I'm like, I told you, man. You this is why I'm doxxed. Like, you can't do people wrong. In this city, they'll find you and fuck you up. This is why I try to keep my face card. But all right. So, like we just explained, guys, events, you know, lead to some profits. And this will be once again injected back into either Rune or Mallard Asset Floor. And then, you know, reward through Conduit. And as we talked about before, we'll have the remaining, depending on the discounted allocations, how many people actually show up to mint the discounted windows. There will be a range between these numbers here left over that go all back to all of our minters in the reward pool. So there's something in it for you on day one, as well as there's something in it for you on days every other day. Obviously, that's all seen here because all rev share, you know, percentages of it is all going back to the project. So the holders are going to be lit. And those who laughed at us will drink your tears and laugh at you back later. So we're ending this now. We pretty much covered everything. You got any last words for these quackers?
No, I mean, like, it's just, I really am looking forward to just kind of just building something that I think is going to be very, very memorable and real and awesome for this community. And like, I'm just happy to be a part of it. And just like, I know that like you really put on and you haven't given up no matter what the case may be, whether external or internal, anything. The only thing that is important to you is showing up for this project. And you've done that literally every day. Like, I
can't let the haters win, bro. I'm telling you, I can't. I just can't live with myself.
Yeah, exactly. And like, again, like what we presented and what we have and what we're building, what we've built, it all really is just like, it tracks, and it's going to be something that, like, you know, we're going to make happen no matter what the case is. You know,
damn right.
Really, so like, that's just really what it all boils down to. And again, like,
thank you very much. Joyless, you're the fucking man. Ever since you joined the team a couple months ago, you've made this project a lot better behind the scenes, and you brought a new breath of fresh air into this project. Same thing goes for Nemesis. She's my rock. Without her, I don't get a lot done, so stop giving Demos all the credit. Shout out to my main man, Box Lord. This MFer is a machine, and he makes most of you look like hacks. And then shout outs to the boy in Bulgaria, the one and only, the dev. He's half computer, half man at this point. Sub-Zero, thank you very much for all you've done for us. And I'm going to leave you guys. What? Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, my man. Yeah, Sub-Zero's the man, dude. Like,
hell yeah, dude. Thank you for introducing me. And we're going to leave them with one question, Ian, before we jump off of here. And that is, guys,